When the East is in the house.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you get props over there. Come on. I said, the bridge is over, the bridge is over. Linden Boulevard, represent.
Welcome back to Disposable Arts.
Hello there. Hello there.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Disposable Arts, episode 8. I am your host, M-O-O-D to the Z, and of course, I've always got my hip-hop elitists? No, I'm not going to call you guys elitists.
That's you.
We got the Jail of Solace in the house, and we got Action Anticon representing. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, man, it feels so damn good to be back here representing episode 8. Our last episode was the top 10 in 2017, which came out, I think in January. We are officially the most inconsistent hip-hop podcast out there, but You know what? It doesn't matter, man. We're still having fun doing this, and the feedback's been good, for the most part. We got a couple haters out there, but who cares? I think a lot of people enjoyed the 2017. I had a lot of DMs and shit about the list, and they were on point. They were on point. So, how you guys feeling, man? How you guys feeling?
Oh, feeling good, baby. Just get over the March Madness. Come on.
Oh, I know, man. March Madness was crazy.
Yeah.
How about the Chicago team, man, making it to the Final Four? That was fucking...
Oh, man. Sister Jean was getting ready to party her ass off there, but too bad they lost.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah, fucking sports, right on.
I knew that was coming too. I was like, fuck sports. But yeah, man, so we are officially done the first quarter of 2018. That's how many shows we've been doing, which is kind of funny. But I have to say, man, just by looking at the first 3 months of this year, this has been an amazing start to the year for albums. Yeah. I have to say, man, I don't remember the last time, the first 2-3 months produced this many albums that could be contenders for top 10. It's very, very interesting how this is really coming together. I mean, this might be a very, very memorable year as a whole. What are your guys' thoughts on the year so far?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so much to listen to. It's hard to keep track of it all at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. I got there's a bunch of albums that will definitely already be in my top 10. It's like you said, it's only April, so it's crazy.
It's truly amazing. I mean, usually in my experience, it seems like the second half of the year seems to produce the albums that kind of make the top 10 list by the end of the year and stuff, but this is crazy, man. I mean, with Evidence and, the new Czarface and MF Doom albums, Dr. Octagon, the Jericho Jackson album that's out right now, Black Milk. There's a lot of heavy hitters dropping records right now, and that's just a good thing, man. We got Rock Marciano. OC put out, the second half of his project. Just so much good stuff. I mean, a lot of people are feeling the Prime record. So I mean, I guess I can kind of lump that into there. I'm surprised how much good feedback it's getting. Actually, really positive, and it's really being promoted a lot as well. Yeah, man. Oh, I know, man. Primo's been all over that. I mean, Instagram and just in social media in general, he's been hyping the shit out of this stuff, man. I understand why people are digging it, but I also understand why people aren't digging it also. I mean, for them, the consensus is, I've got a few, homies around here that, they really like the first Prime record. Me personally, I didn't really feel it. And so I had a lot of high hopes for this one. I thought it was going to kind of step its game up and stuff. And, you know, to be honest, man, it wasn't really working for me. And this is coming from somebody that, you know, DJ Premier is my favorite producer of all time. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling these projects, man. I don't know what it is. I mean, I had a conversation with my buddy about it, and he's like, well, you know, it's because, you know, Primo's changed. I mean, the project is about complimenting Royce da 5'9", right? So that's why the beats are a little bit different and stuff. That's the whole point of these Prime projects. It's Primo trying to kind of elevate his, you know, his beat status and, you know, just kind of not change, but just do something a little bit different. I think with Primo, though, for myself, it's more or less, you know, like a lot of producers, they don't like to get pigeonholed into having that specific sound, you know, and just kind of, that's what you're known for. I understand Primo wants to do something else, but sometimes change isn't good, in my opinion. I mean, to be honest, I want to hear that typical, you know, that Primo sound that we love. And he's still producing tracks, you know, on the side for other people that sound just like Primo, and some of them are fire.
Yeah, definitely.
Like he did a track with one of the ASAP cats. I can't remember which guy it was, but that track was fire.
ASAP Ferg.
Yeah,
it was ASAP Ferg.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, damn, dude. Like, I mean, this is what I love about Primo. He seems to kind of bring out the best in some of these, you know, MCs I'm not really too fond of, you know? And sometimes when you put him on a Primo track, it's just like, whoa, holy shit, dude, that's really crazy. I don't know, man. There's some hints of Primo in this Prime record that I enjoyed, but overall, it feels very jumbly to me and stuff. And I gotta admit, man, that track that he did with 2 Chainz, you know, the Flirt track, that was kind of the standout track on the record for myself as being really not good. And that seems to be the track that they're promoting the album with. I didn't even realize that until after. And I was like, okay, this is not really working for me.
That's the thing. They performed that on Jimmy Fallon's show and shit. And I was like, oh man, this is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, so what are you guys' thoughts? Have you heard it, Tom? Have you listened to Prime 2?
Yeah, I've heard it once all the way through. I liked it more than the first one, for sure. But I'm kind of with you, although I kind of not feeling it for... I've never been the biggest Royce fan, like, to begin with. Even, like, from his solo projects and his stuff with, what is it, Bad Meets Evil with Eminem.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's kind of just what it is for me. I'm just not the biggest... you know, Royce fan, so...
It's interesting to say that, because I'm not either. I mean, Royce is one of the guys that everybody brings up as this great MC, and I mean, he is good, but I don't know. There's something about him that never really got me fired up to hear his stuff.
Yeah, same. I never really, like, jived with exactly what Jason said. I never really... I got it, I guess, you know? He's just not really seeing him like everybody else is, so... I mean, Premier, obviously. He makes... good beats, or I think we're just so used to like his classic production that I don't know, it's hard, you know, to let that go for me personally. I mean, he started one of my favorite groups ever, and he's had so much great production throughout the years, just doing different remixes and just like for other people that, you know, obviously he's gonna, you know, he, like you said, he wants to maybe, you know, progress a little bit, you know, as a producer. He doesn't want to lose his classic Primo sound, because that's what he's known for, obviously. But like you said, he's kind of making these beats for Royce, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, as well, is like where he samples, like Adrian Young makes this music, and he samples it all and turns it into like supposedly like a Primo sound. But it's you know, it's hard to do that. You know, it's definitely not an easy thing. It would be a challenge to do it and maintain your sound, which obviously we don't think he did maintain very well. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's not bad. I didn't hate it. And the more I listened to it, I did like it a bit more, but it's just not what I expect out of a Primo album.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I hold such a high standard that anything that's going to be below that, it's kind of, for me, is just like, maybe I shouldn't anymore. Maybe I should kind of let that go now. But I've just always held him to such a, even like just, I've seen him a few times just doing straight up, just like DJing, doing club gigs, you know, just spinning records.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just so amazing, just doing his thing, you know, on turntables and just.
Primo is one of those cats, though, that he, you know, when he's doing a DJ set, he can spin for 6 hours of his own material, and it's like the best set ever. You know, like, that's incredible that you can spin that much of your own material and just be amazing. But, you know, I'm with you guys, man. He's always had that hype behind him. And I understand it, though, because, you know, he was featured on, you know, Eminem's record, and everyone's like, holy fuck, you know, Royce 5'9", he's kind of the next thing. And that was the big talk with Royce. You know, he's going to be, you know, that next big thing kind of guy. And I think all of his records kind of failed miserably. Mm-hmm. Like he put out some decent material, like here and there. I like the Bar Exam. I think that was, which was more, it was a mixtape. But if you look at his discography, I mean, he really doesn't have a lot of great records, which is kind of surprising. He kind of reminds me of like Cannabis. He's one of those MCs that, you know, he's got
that's
skills.
A good example.
He's got skills, but he doesn't really put together memorable projects. And I think that's one thing about Royce, is that he's a dope MC. I really like Royce, you know, at times, but to me, he's kind of like a Sky Zoo. Like, I like Sky Zoo, but he kind of bores me to death. Like, you know, he's got lots of skill in there. And just doesn't really make the best records. And I don't know, man, this collabo is just not really, it's not coming together for me. I definitely did like this more than the first one, but you also had a lot more material on this record to get in touch with. The first album only had 9 tracks. This one's got 17. I feel like this one, you know, it feels long when you listen to it, though, and that's kind of a big problem for me. Yeah. But I don't know, man.
It does long. Yeah, it does. I think it's one of those like combos that on paper would be perfect. You know, it should be a perfect fucking duo, you know, on paper anyway. And it's just like, it just didn't live up to it for me. So yeah, so that's all it is basically.
Well, at least they had Rock Marciano on a track, so that made me happy.
Yeah, which actually wasn't too bad. You know, Respect My Gun, that track actually wasn't, you know, wasn't that bad. I thought Big Crit sounded good on the track. What was this? Made Man.
Yeah, Made Man, yeah.
I actually liked Crit's record from last year, man. That was one that never really got brought up. I think because it came out later in the year. But that guy actually...
I didn't even know you even listened to Big Crit.
Dude, I actually have all of his albums.
Really?
Yeah, I like Crit, man. Well, because,
shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when he put out, you know, his early kind of mixtape things and they got pressed up, I was like, man, those are pretty cool. I actually have a lot of respect for Crit, man. He's, you know, as a beat maker and an MC, like he's kind of his own thing. You know, and I like Crit, man, to be honest. Like, I haven't really heard anything I didn't like by him. There's something about him that's memorable. I don't know. It's just a combination of beats and his style. And, you know, you can hear his accent, too. And I don't know. There's something about him.
The first album he put out, like the major release album, I didn't really feel that much. But all his other stuff, is like his mixtapes he put out before that, were really good stuff.
You know, I agree. Actually, that was probably my least favorite project by him, too. Because I think it had a lot of studio influence in there. You could tell it was a little bit different. It was kind of projected more towards, you know, a bigger crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, man, but this year, holy shit, man, I got Dr. Octagon in last night, and I finally peeped it out, and it's fantastic, man. It's a really good project. I don't know,
for the first listen I gave it, I just you know, gave it one listen. I didn't get a chance to really pay good attention to it, but I don't know, man. I just wasn't really feeling it that much.
Really? What about it, man? I thought Qbert was amazing on it, man. He cuts up some pretty good shit.
Qbert is amazing, but I don't know, man. The beats just weren't, I don't know, just kind of different for me. Yeah, I'll have to listen to it more for sure, but at this point, I'm kind of undecided.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is the best Keith has sounded in years and years and years."
No,
and I'm like,
I don't agree with that.
I actually don't agree with that either. I thought he sounded really good on his feature album that he did.
Yep.
2 years ago or whatever. I thought that was fantastic stuff.
Yep. Yeah, the last couple things he's put out have been quite good, actually. So it
was cool to hear a track on this record with Del. You know.
Yeah.
Del and Cool Keys.
Yeah, that's cool that he. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. So what other albums from this year have you guys peeped out that is making this 2018 start memorable?
Oh, man, the Crime Apple and Big Ghost for sure.
Dude, I gotta say that shit is dope, man.
Jesus Christ. Like, Big Ghost, man. Like, last year, of course, he did the album with Huss Kingpin that I love so much.
Yeah.
But, man, starting out this year with this one with Crime Apple, like, holy shit. He's one of my favorite producers right now. It's like he seems to make really good beats for these specific guys. Like, they just sound perfect on these beats.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course there's like Czarface Doom. That's good too, man. I love that.
Isn't it exactly what you expected it to sound like? You know, the Czarface sound with the MF Doom.
Close to it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't disappoint, but I don't know. I really liked Esoteric on here, man. He sounds great on a lot of these songs, but I don't know, Inspector Deck kind of let me down a little bit on this one. He was definitely the weak link of the three, I thought, on this.
Which is kind of funny, because I find Inspector Deck is usually kind of the standout point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he seems to really kind of... Maybe he was felt overshadowed by Doom or something, having him on the... I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe.
I actually agree. I think Inspector Deck was the weakest point of this. Yeah, so...
Yeah. Of course, Rock Marciano, Rosebud's Revenge 2.
So I got a quick question about that, man. So I know how much you loved Rock Marciano's record last year.
Yep.
So how does this one match up to that one?
At this point, I still think I prefer the first one, but this one, with more listens as the year goes on, I'm sure it can overtake it.
Man, I have to say, like, he really elevated. I think the beats on here, they just sound a little bit more, they're crisp. Obviously, the mixing's a ton better on this. Like,
the mixing mixing is way different.
It just sounds so much better, but I found the production to be kind of, it's really, I don't know, man, it's crisp, it's nice, it's really nice.
Yeah.
That rock sounded really good on the mic on every track. Again, very few features, but this is a really good album. I was really surprised at how good this was. So, it's another kind of standout one. Did you hear it, Tom, the Rock Marciano?
Yeah, I thought it was really dope, too. I really enjoyed it. I totally agree with you with what you're saying about the production. I thought it sounded amazing. And, he had the usual cast on there, fucking Knowledge, obviously. And he had the track with Action Bronson, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, Action Bronson's verse is fantastic on that.
As always. Yeah. No, there's definitely, it's been a good year. Like, I haven't heard Dr. Octagon actually personally yet. I'm still waiting. My copy's supposed to be here today, I believe. Today or Monday. That fucking Jericho Jackson's been amazing. I've been listening to that a lot. Fucking it's nice to hear something from Crisis finally. Crisis has always been one of my favorite dudes, one of my favorite producers. From the Justice League ever since I heard of fucking Ninth Wonder, that whole fucking Carolina sound, fucking amazing. Really digging that recently. You guys, I know Moodsy. You heard that one. Did you hear that one?
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
Man, the Crisis.
Always love Elzai, man. Elzai is one of my favorite MCs.
I think Elzai is right up there. For kind of the new school of MC. Well, I mean, he's not that new, anyways. He's been around for a long time, but
he's been putting out so much more material now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that he's actually putting shit out now.
I felt this album had like a perfect 11 track, ran about 39, 40 minutes kind of thing, and it's just a great listen, man, top to bottom. It just flies by so good.
All the way through. Yeah. Such a great combination, too. I'm so surprised that it took them this long to do something together because they just fit so well together, and I loved it. See, what else do I have here? Album that Mood showed me, actually, that I've been really digging is the SC Static and Jesse Castro called Scared Neighbors.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. I kind of like that. It's pretty entertaining.
I peeped this shit out, man, solely based on the cover. I saw this white dude. I actually burst out laughing.
That's like back in the day, you just see the cover, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to check this out.
Yeah, right. I peeped it out solely based on the cover. It's this white dude, and he's walking his poodle, in this suburban neighborhood, and he's wearing a Naughty by Nature shirt. And I was like, okay, I got to check this out, right? This is gonna be terrible. And I was like, what the fuck? This is really good. So I looked him up. This dude has done like 12 projects in the last, bunch of years and shit. And I was kind of going through some of the stuff, and I'm like, man, because he worked with different producers on a bunch of different records and different projects, and it's all really good. I was like, this guy is mad slept on. I mean, he's putting on some pretty good stuff, and
it's insane.
SD Static, man.
I definitely want to check out some of his older stuff now.
Yeah, where did this dude come from? How did we not know about this, considering he put out so many projects? Like that
just kind of slipped on by.
But I got to say, man, his skills on the mic, though, he's very down to, he's very real. He's just telling it how it is and shit. But one thing that really caught my eye about this guy is that he's super clean. Like, this album has maybe one or two curse words on the whole record, and that's kind of interesting. You just don't hear that a lot.
I didn't even really notice that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's crazy clean.
So, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's like. It's clean, but he does it in such a way where it's not noticeable. You don't miss it per se, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like that missing anything. I mean, you don't really.
Yeah.
I don't really look for curse words, obviously, in my rap. That doesn't make or not make it a record. But this is just done so well, like it is, that there's just no need for it.
I found myself sitting there, listening to it and actually like listening to everything he was saying because I wanted to hear what he was going to say next. That's how intriguing he was to me. I was like, that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Did you guys get a chance to check out the Murs record?
No, I didn't. I actually had that listed as something I wanted to check out just out of curiosity more than anything, but I didn't check it out yet.
I did listen to it once, and I will say it's a shit ton better than his last one. I mean, that's good to hear. That was a disaster. I mean, those beats, everything. This one's all produced by Michael Seven Summers, and the production's way different. I mean, it's still Mears on the mic. He's telling stories, and he's Mears is Mears, right? But it sounded a lot better. It was very cohesive. It just didn't have whack beats, so that was a good thing.
So basically, it wasn't Merce on like pop beats this time.
Exactly. It sounded a little bit old, like kind of more vintage Mears, to be honest.
That's good. Good stuff. Yeah, I'll check it out now for sure. Then, did you guys hear the new Apathy?
I was just gonna ask that.
Yep.
Nice. What did you think about that?
I've ran through it a couple times. It's kind of hit and miss with me. I mean, Apathy is Apathy. I mean, coming off the Perestroika record, I was expecting big things off this. I got to give it some more listens, but I did like a lot of tracks, man. I mean, the track with Pharoah Monch and Pete Rock, man. That track is banging, man. It's fucking good.
Yeah, that's really good.
But, the album is solid. It's an Apathy record. He doesn't really ever put out bad albums, He's always putting out solid stuff, but I got to give it some more listens. It has kind of fallen on the back burner just because this year has been so like top heavy. I've been listening to Jericho Jackson so much and a few others that I got to go back to that one. But what are your guys' thoughts on it? I've listened to it a few times. It's kind of hit and miss for me. Like a lot of Apathy's albums seem to be for me, and like you said with Perestroika, that was damn near perfect album. So coming off of that, it's kind of hard to repeat on an individual solo album. But man, one song though, Fist of the North Star with Diabolic. Holy shit, man. That track is just crazy. Diabolic, man. He's definitely one of my top MCs right now. I just love everything he puts out. So I'm looking forward to his new album soon as well. Yeah, he's a beast, man. Diabolic is cool. Jesus Christ. Did you ever watch like those little ciphers they have? Like and Diabolic always goes last and just kills. Oh my God. Everybody else is just like, why am I even here? Like this is he's like 10 times the level of everybody else that goes before him. It's just fucking crazy. I love that record, Liar and the Thief, man. That shit was banging. Oh, Fighting Words too, man. That song. Oh, that album is just crazy. Like, yeah, Diabolic, man. I can't wait. I seriously cannot wait for his new album. That's one of the ones I am really anticipating. Is it slated to come out this year? Yeah, he posted on his Twitter. Like he posted up the cover of it and everything. I don't know exactly when it's coming out. He didn't have a date listed, but yeah, it definitely should be this year. Yeah, that's why I asked because I remember hearing or reading rumblings about it and stuff, but I didn't know if it was coming out this year or if it was just in the process but yeah, it has to be where he posted up the cover of it. I assume it's coming out in the very near future. I did not see that. So did you guys ever hear any of his rants when he gets on YouTube and he just like not on YouTube, I don't know what he's on, probably Instagram or some shit, but people post it on YouTube. He's just like ripping Talib Kweli and now rips Immortal Technique all the time. It's hilarious. I have heard that he does that. I've actually never checked any of that stuff out before. Yeah, one night I just put it on and I was just like doing shit around here, just cleaning shit up and just listening to him. I was like, oh, this is pretty funny, man. He just sits there in the dark, like by himself. It looks like he's in his basement or something and just like smoking cigarettes and talking shit about people. Yeah, he jumped on that Talib Kweli thing because, I mean, that all obviously stems from him dissing white MCs, right? There was a lot of cats that were coming at him for that. Well, yeah, Diabolic roasted him too, man. Like, it's not even close the songs they made. It's like, you just need to shut the hell up, man. You're going to lose this battle. Yeah, no shit, right? Anyone check out the Mayhem Loren project? Yeah, I actually did check that out the other day. Yeah, it was a surprise release. I wasn't expecting. I didn't see it coming. No, I didn't expect it to be coming out at all, and it's all produced by Harry Freud, so... I thought it was... Harry Fraud. I thought it was really good. I thought it was dope, man. I mean, yeah, it was mayhem.
Yeah, those Harry Fraud beats, man, they're kind of interesting. I like his shit.
I feel like he doesn't. I kind of never know what to expect with his beats. Like when I hear one of his beats, I instantly can't say, "Oh, that's a Harry Fraud beat." You know?
Well, usually I can, because at the start of all the songs, it's like the music out of Harry Fraud.
Well, besides the stamps in there,
that little tag every time.
Yeah, besides those stamps, and I guess that does make sense, right? But I thought it was pretty good, man. There's some fucking heat on that, anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so
did you guys keep the Factor record? I think it came out back in February.
You know what? I didn't check it. I actually got an email for it, and I never did end up checking it out. Kind of forgot about it.
Oh, you guys! It's fucking great. It's classic Factor sound. You know.
Is it an instrumental project, or is it like a producer record?
Oh, he's got features on it. He's got like Micah 9 and Kay the Aquanaut and Astronautilus and all those dudes. Chesky's on it.
Yeah.
Decisive's on it. So I think it's definitely one that you would dig, Moods. It's, like I said, it's that classic Factor sound that never really disappoints. So yeah, he's still doing his thing. I loved it.
That's a dude that never gets talked about, man. Is Factor. Like, he put out some really good records with AWOL1, and some of his solo projects and shit are really good too. That guy's put out a lot of material, and you never hear his name mentioned at all. It's probably because he's Canadian.
Yeah, Tom's probably the only person I hear talk about Factor.
Well, I know.
But the Canadian Factor actually probably does play a big part in that.
Yeah, Tom is actually one of the only guys I've ever heard, like an American, that has mentioned Peanuts and Corn. Every time I mention anybody from that crew, everyone's like, "What the fuck? Did you just say penis and corn?" I said, "No, peanuts and corn." And literally, Tom is the only person to ever go, "Yeah, man, fucking McEnroe's dope," and Bird of Prey and Pips. I'm like, "Holy fuck, John Smith!" I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's definitely that Canadian Factor, man, for sure. The shit just does not seem to make it south. For whatever
That's what he should call it. He should call an album "The Canadian Factor."
Wait. It's just or just penis and corn.
Which is
that was so funny.
Which is actually kind of ironic too, because Factor works with mostly American MCs.
Yeah,
he does. He does,
like,
yeah.
I mean, he's put out 3 or 4 full albums with AWOL1. Like, I don't understand how this guy isn't getting more love, but. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I need to check that out.
I didn't even see that came out, so definitely.
Yeah, it came out back in February. Again, Alex just did an interview with him, actually, I think yesterday. He said he's gonna be coming out in a couple of weeks, I think, on his show. So pretty dope. But he actually mentions how he hooks up with all those West Coast artists, like back like back in the fucking late 90s, early 2000s. He was like one of the only dudes that was like branching out from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Doing stuff with those West Coast dudes, and he like kind of mentions how he gets all that stuff started. So pretty cool story, which I never knew, actually. So definitely worth checking that out when it comes out.
Yeah, I'd actually like to know, like, if he reached out to them or if he just was just sending beats off, like, "Hey man, check out my shit, man."
Yeah. So I don't know if I'll just say it again. It's not like a crazy story, but I guess he like had a record store back in Saskatoon. I think it's where he lived, Saskatoon. And I guess the way he fucking took orders was a bunch of people that lived in the area were just huge hip hop heads. They all had like crazy want lists of like all this underground hip hop, and like he just called up like the guys like AWOL1 and fucking Freestyle Fellowship. He called up the groups themselves to order the vinyl from. It's how it was back in the day. You just call up the fucking. You don't have like distribution.
Yeah,
you did do their own pressing. So that's how he made those connections. Basically, was just fucking calling up the actual fucking artists and just buying vinyl, selling it in his store to whoever wanted it. And then once he started making music, he already knew the guys, so he's like, "Hey, I'm starting to make music. Would you want to jump on this track or whatever?" I guess that's kind of how that came about. Yeah,
that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, kind of a shortened version there of it, but that's basically what Alex said happens. I thought that was pretty cool. I guess the store only lasted for a few years, and then he started like getting really serious into the music thing. So pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, he's done well for himself. I mean, he's still putting out records to this day, and he's done a lot. He's done a lot, man. That's cool. He's done
a lot of projects, like at least 30 plus, if not more.
Oh, easy.
Ton of projects, and like you said, one of the only dudes that fucking has so many records with ACeyalone. When you ask people, like, if they've ever heard of ACeyalone, they're like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's surprising in itself, too, because ACeyalone has, probably 20 albums himself, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. He's like, he's one of those fucking Mocha only guys that just fucking puts out record after record after record, and none of them are really whack either,
Not that many, come on. Mocha only puts out probably as many in a year as he put out in his career.
Dude, that guy puts out an album for like he has a Christmas album every year. He's got like he puts out an album for every fucking holiday. It's crazy.
He's got like multiple albums for each season. It's fucking insane, like how much work he puts out. But I don't know, man. All these guys fucking have plenty of records out. So
I know I mentioned it before, but I'd interviewed Dupri years ago. And he told me that he'd never met anybody like Mocha Only. That guy literally lives in the studio. Like, he never leaves. All he's doing is making beats. Like, he said, like, when he's hanging out with them, that's what he'd be doing. He'd just be, like, either writing something or beat making or trying to find sample. Like, he's just constant. But it really does show in his output. I mean, he must have the most albums ever done.
Yeah,
by anybody.
He has to hold some kind of Guinness World Record for the fucking most albums ever released by a single artist, I think.
Even in day and age where a lot of stuff comes out digitally, he still presses up a lot of his stuff, which is mind blowing. It's crazy to think that he's doing that, but
yeah, I mean, he's putting out albums like every couple months. Like it's insane.
I wonder, like, if he has a huge, just if he's sitting on a gold mine and stuff too that he just hasn't released, or if he releases everything that he does.
He must release everything. I mean, Jesus Christ! Like there'd be no way possible he could make that much music.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's fucking nuts, man. Yeah, one last record I wanted to talk about. Actually, I checked out the new Fonte record. I thought that was pretty good.
Okay,
but was the Cooley High? Did you guys check out Cooley High?
No.
Shit, I didn't even know that they came out with a new record.
Yeah, the Cooley High. It was fucking good, man. Really, really good. So just another album to add into the array of great records to start off this year. I can't wait for the rest of the year, but yeah, man. Also, You Got dropped a new one. If anybody cares. I haven't actually listened to it. I peeped out a couple tracks from it. It actually didn't sound too bad. It sounded better than some of the other Woo members' albums that come out these days, but
yeah,
but here we'll start this off with some rest in pieces. Now, we were actually joking about how we should have a section on the show just for rest in pieces because man, so many cats have been passing away recently. It's nuts.
We should play some somber music or something in the background.
I should, man. But yeah, this first guy here, he passed away. I think a little. Like I said, we haven't done the show in a couple months, but I think it's about 2 months now. But Lovebug Starsky passed away. Oddly enough, I think I read that he was actually moving speakers when he passed away in his storage area or some shit, and I was like, that's crazy.
Oh, shit.
If you don't know who
Lovebug crushed on a speaker or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I just kind of glanced at like how he passed away, but I was just like, holy shit, that's crazy. But yeah, Lovebug Starsky, he's kind of one of the guys that is mentioned with, creating the word or coining the term hip hop, right? In the early 80s and shit. So that's kind of his, his legendary status. It's kind of interesting too, because, he was putting out 12 inches from like the late 70s until about the mid 80s. And then he finally put out an album in 1986, and then that was like it. He didn't really do anything after that. I thought that was really interesting. Kind of end your career with an album. But Lovebug Starsky, he's mentioned in so many people's songs. I mean, the name is legendary, right?
Yeah, I mean, from Biggie's probably, mention him in Juicy's probably like the biggest, I don't know, push like that guy's ever gotten as far as public, knowing the guy at least.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, do you know how he passed away, Moods?
It said that he had a heart attack or something, moving speakers. I mean, I don't know if that's true or
death by speaker.
Yeah. It says, like in the article that I read, it said that he was moving speakers in his storage area or something like that and had a heart attack.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I read. I don't know if that's completely true. Was there a rumor that he had actually been crushed by a speaker?
Oh no, I was just kind of curious because I didn't hear how he actually died. You said he was moving speakers, so I'm hoping it wasn't just some like stupid freak accident that happened or something. Because I didn't know. But yeah,
we'll just leave it as death by speaker. That's it.
By speaker, right? Crazy.
But yeah, love Bug Starsky, man. Rest in peace. Gotta give it up to the man Craig Mack, who passed away. It's just crazy, man. You know, apparently I don't know if they fully disclosed what type of disease or thing that he had, but he passed away, 45 or 46 years old?
46.
46 years old. You know, Craig Mack, of course, is mostly known for doing, Flavor in Your Ear and shit like that. Being the first album ever to come out on Bad Boy, which, I think a lot of people do know that, but I think a lot of people also think that the Ready to Die record came out first, but they were actually a week apart. I always thought that was interesting that Puffy released those albums so close together in 94.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to make like a huge splash, it's like, here, take this.
It's crazy though, but
yeah,
man, Craig Mack, dude, like that way, it was a shock, I mean, just hearing somebody dying so young like that, it just, I don't know,
it's craziness.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Anything else on Craig Mack?
Yeah, his life was a little bit crazier than his death, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if anyone has, kind of read up on him the last few years. I personally haven't up until I saw this, but apparently the last, I don't know how many years of his life, but he was basically attending a cult. He was part of a cult, from what I understand, down in South Carolina. And he was called, I forget what it was called now. It was called I can't remember. I don't know. I closed the page. But yeah, he was part of a cult down in South Carolina where the lead guy was had some bad charges on him. Everything from basically child rape to sexual misconduct. What was it? Theft or burglary?
Yep.
Yeah. And then he had previous charges. And this was from last year. He had previous charges back from 2002, which were a couple of women accused him of rape as well, which actually he pled guilty to, but it was downgraded to a lesser charge.
Yeah, he pled guilty to assault and battery rather than the actual rape charges.
Right. So yeah, there was I'm gonna keep calling it a cult. It's basically a cult. Everything I hear of 70 people down in South Carolina, somewhere. I'm not sure what part of South Carolina, but Craig Mack didn't actually live inside the compound because there was a compound where all the other members lived. Craig Mack lived in a house, his own house, very close to it. But he was always there in the sermons. He basically renounced his old life and started living for righteousness, as he calls it. Apparently,
I was reading there as well. One thing is I was mentioning to Tom earlier. There is that this guy that knows Craig Mack, he was talking to him, and he said, your preacher, he just got arrested for having sex with a 12-year-old. How do you take that? And then Craig Mack responded, I will forgive him because we forgave the people that killed Jesus.
I don't even know how to respond to that, man.
Yeah, and then his buddy's at that point, he was all in. It's
man,
at that point, you're definitely all in. And so how do these mystery and dubious characters become cult leaders? How does this happen? They're out raping kids and women in church and stealing shit. Man,
right.
This is what gives religion such a bad name too, right? You always associate these type of dark stories with, religious followings and cults and things like that. And I didn't know any. I always thought this stuff was just kind of rumored. I remember reading something that I think it was about the late 2000s or 2000, whatever. Craig Mack had officially kind of left the rap game and, decided to pursue not a career, but pursue a life in, the religious realm. And I didn't realize it was this serious, like a full-blown cult and all that type of shit. That it fucking blows my mind. But I do find this very interesting, the connection with former bad boy artists and religion. I just thought of this right now. Mace at one point had left, obviously, the rap game to pursue a career as being a pastor. And now years later, Craig Mack, he was done with Bad Boy years and years ago. That's a whole different conversation with Puff Daddy, how he fucked him. Probably literally, too. I mean, this whole rumors about Puff Daddy being fucking gay. It's so crazy, all the shit that's been coming out about Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy's running a sex cult, what he's into.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, you keep hearing and reading all this shit about Puff Daddy recently, and it's just crazy, or whatever the fuck you want to call him. But now Craig Mack joining this cult and shit. Like, what the fuck was going on with Bad Boy that was making these people, just turn this way? It's really, really bizarre to me. Like, I mean, I haven't really heard of too many artists doing this. Is it just Bad Boy? I don't know.
Maybe it's like Puffy put them under some sort of, spell himself, and then when they kind of bailed out on him, they just found it natural to move on to another cult. It's like, where's my next cult leader? I need something here. Come on.
Obviously. And you would think that cult leaders would be like, sort of charismatic and like maybe like good looking or, have something going for him. If you look at this dude and to like watch videos of like the leader from this, he is just like this old, he was 80 years old, right, Jason? He's 79, 80, something like that.
Yeah, he's like in his 80s.
Yeah, really? He's old, has his big white beard. He looks like your grandfather, basically. He looks like he would fucking molest somebody, all right? I don't want to be mean, but if you're gonna fucking look at like fucking, someone that would do that type of bullshit, this dude looks like he wouldn't be too far from it. He's hair all crazy and shit, fucking, and the sort of nonsense he spews out of his mouth. Like, there was a video of him online cupping the breast of a 12-year-old girl, saying, he said, "I'm gonna touch those things till nobody else can."
Jesus Christ.
There's just no denying this shit either when you're doing that stuff on video and posting on social media.
On video. Dude, they were streaming these on YouTube and on the radio. It was so crazy. I don't understand how this shit happens.
Yeah, it's like, how are people in their right mind watching this and saying, all right, this is a guy I want to get behind. This guy I want to follow, dedicate the rest of my life to what he's saying. It's like, holy Christ.
This sounds like a great cause. Let's just all join this.
Yeah, it's like I was saying to you earlier, Tom. It gives people like me confidence that I could actually build a cult if I wanted to. It's like, Jesus.
Has that ever really come into your mind?
Well, no. What I'm just saying though, man, it's like, Christ, if I actually dedicated my time and all my thoughts into how I could build a cult, I'm pretty goddamn sure I could convince some people to follow me.
You know what, man? All you have to do is become a master manipulator. That's all it takes. If you can convince, 1 to 3 to 5 people, it spirals from there. That's how all these cult leaders are, just master manipulators. Yeah. And I don't know exactly what they're saying because I've never listened in on a fucking, cult leader talking and shit and how he brainwashes people into doing the things that he wants them to do. But it's mind-blowing to me. I've always been fascinated with this type of stuff, but
it definitely is interesting, to say the least.
I mean, they really prey on the weak, though. They prey on people that don't have any direction or have lost their direction in their lives and stuff. And I think maybe that's what happened to Craig Mack. He'd given up on, pursuing music. Because through the 2000s, he was producing a lot of, like, singles and stuff. And there was, he had an album that was supposed to come out in the early 2000s that never came out. So I think maybe, and, his whole past with Bad Boy being fucked out of all the money that he was owed. I mean, that's kind of public knowledge that Craig Mack never really made any money from Bad Boy and stuff. So I think all that stuff might have contributed to, his mentality. And maybe he's just looking for something else. And then, who knows? I mean, that's just what happens.
Yeah, and in an interview I was reading there as well, like, he said at one point, like, he had a gun in his lap and he was talking to God and he was thinking about killing himself. So, I mean, obviously he's not stable at that point. So that's, like you said, these are the type of people that guys like that prey on, basically, and they get them pulled in somehow. I still don't know how they do it specifically, but yeah, it is pretty goddamn fascinating.
They show them that false love, man. Yeah, I mean, these cult leaders don't really give a shit about the people. They just want the people because it becomes a power to them. It's almost like a disease, It's like, if you can control somebody, why not control 2 people? Why not control 10 people? Hey, fuck it, let's control 100 people. Like, I mean, it's all at that point about power. And, it's so fucking sad, man. Like, I mean, Craig Mack, in my opinion, had one of the most memorable songs of the 90s. Everybody knows Flavor in the Air and the remix and shit like that. That was dope. And
man, that was on a commercial the other day. I was watching on TV and I was like, what the hell? And it was on a commercial. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's crazy.
Puff Daddy's still making those ends off that shit.
Yeah, man.
And and fucking to take one thing for, like, I was watching a video the other day. I can't remember who the fuck was talking about it, and they're like, "Fuck Puff Daddy, man. He didn't even show up at Craig Mack's funeral and shit like that, right?" It's like, you know, you don't.
Wait, a sex party to attend. Come on.
I know, right? What the hell is with all the news with Puff Daddy? Like, he's having these crazy sex parties. I was listening to Exhibit was on a radio show, and he was just like, "Man, that motherfucker needs to come out the closet." Like, he's saying this on live radio, and then I'm reading, like, and I'm looking at the videos in the sidebar, and it's all these other rappers and all these other entertainers and shit talking about Puff Daddy, you know, how he needs to come out the closet and shit. And Exhibit's telling this story about how, you know, he was hanging out with Puffy. I think he was at his house or whatever, and then they wanted to go to the club. And it was him, and it was a bunch of people, like, well-known people and shit, so you can, you know, they could vouch for his story and shit. But anyways, you know, and I guess one thing happened before they left the house, and he said we were in this limo or whatever, and, like, no words were being spoken at all. You know, it's like, that's awkward. How the fuck could you be in a vehicle with, like, all these famous people and no one's talking? So something actually went down, you know, kind
everybody's
of thing, right?
just looking out the window, like.
Well, I guess he kind of put it as, you know, he made a comment and it sounded really gay. Like, it came off to Exhibit like, "What, did you just hit on me?" kind of thing. Anyways, so they get to the club, and they go into the club, and there's fucking naked dudes dancing and shit. And Exhibit, he starts laughing. He goes, "Man," he goes, "I've been in my fair share of clubs. I've been in thousands of clubs in my day. You know, I went in random clubs and shit, and never once did I ever walk into the wrong damn club." You know? He goes, "How in the fuck does this happen that one damn time with Puff Daddy? Come on, man." And, like, I'm listening to this
story right there.
I'm dying laughing, dude. I'm just pissing myself. I'm like, this is crazy shit that he's telling us on live radio.
Yeah, man, that is crazy.
So, I mean, I'm sure sooner than later, the real truth behind, you know, his life is going to come out, and it's just going to be not really a big shock, you know?
Yeah.
But I want to hear more stories like this, because that shit, honestly, this is the best thing about the interwebs, you know, the internet and shit. Like, people, you can just post these radio interviews and people making videos telling these stories and shit, and you're just like, oh man, this world is crazy, man. But yeah, man, you know, Craig Mack, that sucks. You know, it sucks to have, you know,
I wonder if Sadat X has any Puff Daddy stories. That would be interesting to hear.
No idea. I'm sure.
He does. I'm sure he has something. It seems like everyone has at least one. Yeah. So
it seemed like it was a pretty good turnout.
I said Sadat X. I meant Lord Jamar.
Lord Jamar, yeah.
You know how he's always doing, like, the you know, the videos and stuff, breaking out all the gossip and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy seems to know everything about everything, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that Lord Jamar, fucking knows something about something, because, like you said, he fucking has his fucking, you know, his hand in everything, it seems. So
yeah, he's got a story, good story on just about any situation.
Right. Anyway, rest in peace, Craig Mack.
Yeah, that was kind of a shock, man. Yeah, man, rest in peace to Craig Mack. It's another loss for the hip-hop world. Moving along here, rest in peace to Alias of Anticon.
Yeah.
Man, dude.
That was a crazy.
41 years old. Like, these peeps are dying young. Apparently he had a heart attack.
A heart attack at 41. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's like he was the co-founder of Anticon, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, and, you know, I know Anticon definitely has its followers. You're one of them, Tom. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's crazy, dude. 41 years old, man. You know, he put out a lot of material. Like, they actually did a lot of work.
Yeah, he put out a lot of shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, they had a big splash there for a long time and stuff. I haven't really, like, I listened to Alias, you know, years ago. I don't know much of the current stuff. But you were saying, Tom, he hadn't put out a record in a few years, so he
since like 2014 it was his last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And it was like similar, you know. Yeah, so I wasn't like really keeping up with him. Like I told you, I wasn't really like, you know, really like checking out what he was doing in the last few years. So I don't know. I think it seemed like he was kind of maybe behind the scenes, maybe doing production or something. But I guess maybe something, you know, was going on with his health. It was declining, unfortunately. But like I said, I didn't know anything about it up until, that's why it was such a surprise to me that he was so young and he just, you know, passed away of fucking heart. 41. I mean, I'm not far off from that. I mean, we're like all really close, like, you know, in that age range. We're not far off from our 40s, right? So.
No, that's the shit that scares me, dude. Like, you know, I'll be 38 this year. I know we're all about around the same age.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, even like that's him, and like, man, 41, 46. Like, Jesus, it's like, it's kind of scary to think about this, man. It's like, you never know when somebody's gonna die. It's just like you're here and then you're gone, just like that.
Yeah, man, put shit into perspective, man. But rest in peace to Alias, man. That's pretty brutal one. Another one here, man. Chuck Freeze from Jazzy 5. Apparently, I think he had a heart attack and passed away too. You guys know the song "Jazzy Sensation," right? That he did with Africa Bambaataa. Oh, there's another guy.
Oh no! No!
We don't want to get into the Africa Bambaataa shit, but that song has like a million different versions and shit. But
yeah.
But I'm sure everybody is familiar with Jazzy Sensation. You might not remember what it is right now, but if you looked it up and you heard it, you'd be like, oh, I know that track, man. That's like true school stuff from 81, I believe it came out, but it was always a name that was associated, you know, in the game and stuff. Chuck Freeze from Jazzy 5 passed away at 54 years old. Again, not very young, and it seems like it was another cardiac thing, so which is crazy.
Yeah, I thought he was probably older than that. I was kind of surprised that he was that young, actually.
He must have been super young doing that shit.
Must have been, yeah.
I mean, in 81, that's like 37 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so it would have been, you know, roughly... Yeah, that's pretty young, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, rest in peace. Another one here, man. Ala Real, the Wu-Tang affiliate singer. He was actually a little bit older. He was, you know, featured on the Ghostface, Killer records, and just a bunch of, you know, random... Wu-Tang records, Master Kill and shit like that. He was a singer, a little bit older. I think he was 62 or something like that when he passed away. Again,
yeah, he was in his 60s, right?
Which actually shocked me at how old he was.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that person that we're hearing, you know, the voice on these records was that old. You know, because everyone seems so much younger, but... So, yeah, I mean, again, if you don't know the name, I'm sure you recognize the name in the credits and stuff like that of a bunch of Wu-Tang songs. Also, Matt Dyke from Delicious Vinyl, the co-founder of Delicious Vinyl, passed away.
Shit, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, I know that one, again, came as a kind of a shock, too. And last up here, DJ Devastate also passed away. Again, it's probably a name that you don't recognize at first, but he passed away at 35. I'm not 100% sure on how he passed away, but you know, he's worked with tons and tons of guys like Elda Sensei, Planet Asia, Master Ace, Sean Price, fucking CL Smooth. You know, he was signed to BB Records. Who else did he work with, man? I don't know. Bunch of cats. I mean, he's just one of those names that you see in the credits. You know, he produced for a lot of different people, but
right.
35 years old, man. What the fuck?
Yeah. He was actually, I think he was Swedish. I think he was Swedish, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I want to say that he was definitely...
He was probably more well-known, you know, out there, obviously.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But still, man, that's fucking insane. 35. Like,
yeah, I won't lie, though, when I was reading about DJ Devastate, I was like, yeah, I know the name. I'm like, looked him up, and I'm like, oh, okay, man. Looking at some of the tracks, and right away I remembered from Elda Sensei. And I was like, oh, okay, that's where I know the name from. But
that's what I knew the name from, too. Yeah, like, it didn't click at first. When I first saw it, I was like, wait, who? And then, again, yeah.
But that's some heavy weight there, man. Sean Price and CL Smooth and Master Ace. That's, you know, skies. That's some good company right there. But
yeah.
But yeah, man, those are the rest in pieces. Damn, dude, that did take a while. That's
a lot.
Way to bring down the show there, but
moment of silence, man. But you know, I figured, you know, get that out of the way. You know, if you put it in the middle of the show, you get all hype and you bring it down, and you know, you got to bring it back up. So we'll do it right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So let's get into a little bit of news bites here.
Bad news, it travels fast. If it's about you, you probably hear about it last. But when them press up and check up in the mask, you gotta keep perspective on the future and the past and laugh. You see, Bad news that travels fast.
Watch this. I just wanted to bring up, I'm sure you guys were following this maybe on social media and stuff, Instagram, whatever it may be. But Erick Sermon he had a Kickstarter for his new album. And he actually raised the $60,000 to produce this album. And now,
yeah, that seems to happen quite a bit. I mean, guys will put this out and it actually comes to fruition.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that, it's not always working though, because Erick Sermon, like his worked. I believe that even wasn't there kind of a scandal case with Elzai where he raised $25,000 to do a record?
Yeah,
and he actually got the money, but he didn't put out the album.
Yeah, it was taking forever, and everybody's like, "Where the hell is this album?" And he was like, "It'll come out," and it's like kept putting it off. So,
so Kickstarters are really popular in making horror films and stuff. It seems like a lot of indie directors are using the Kickstarter thing, crowdfunding to do their projects and stuff. And I have nothing against it. I mean, it kind of shows the artists or the filmmakers or the the MCs and stuff if there's a demand for your records. I know that the Ghetto Boys actually tried to do a Kickstarter a couple years ago. I think they were trying to raise like $100,000 or some shit for their album, and I think it was more or less Scarface testing the people to see if there was a demand for it, but that one failed. I think they only got like $30,000 or something like that. So. And then I know Scarface even said he kind of turned the page on a Ghetto Boys reunion record, and I'm like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. But my thing is though, man, like, I think this might turn into a really big thing. I think some artists are going to see that these Kickstarters are working, and I think a lot of albums are going to be completely fan funded. What are your guys' thoughts on it? I think this is the way it's going to go. I mean, for guys like Erick Sermon, like I didn't think that he was going to be doing any more records after he put out his last one, because I thought he kind of semi-retired. Didn't he say that he was kind of retiring?
Yeah.
But maybe it was just an idea that he had, I'll test the market, see if I'm still relevant enough, but obviously is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this might be a thing though.
Did you guys ever donate to any Kickstarters before?
I have for movies. I was actually going to donate to this Erick Sermon one, completely forgot about it. And then because they usually last like a month or whatever, you set them up for 30 days and stuff. And then I noticed that Erick Sermon had posted on Instagram and he's like, yeah, we met our goal. And I was like, holy shit, I totally forgot about that. And I was surprised by it. I was shocked. I was like, I got to bring this up because.
Yeah, they didn't need you anyway, right? So.
No, I guess they didn't. But it's not. It's I think the problem is with these Kickstarters and these crowdfunding things is that a lot of people look at them as these people are just begging for money. They're begging for money, but I don't look at it like that. I think they're also, like I said, they're testing the market a little bit. They're testing the fans. They want to know if there's still a market for their product. Right? Instead of putting in a bunch of their own money and then failing miserably. Hey, if you fund this stuff, I mean, you're still getting things back. I mean, there's.
Yeah, I was going to just say, you do get, like, stuff out of it, right? It's not like you're just giving them money for nothing. Most of the time, you get, like, either, say you're pledging towards, like, the release of an album. You're going to get the album, you'll
there's all different levels. Like, you can donate $1 or whatever, but, if you want to donate $30, so you probably get a CD with that. And, if you 50 or 60, you get a vinyl and whatever. But there's all different types of levels. Like, you can go crazy. Like, some of these things, I think Erick Sermon had one, it was like $5,000, like, or $10,000 or something. Like, you get a beat or this and that, and then you get album credits. And there's just like a whole pile of different packages that you can do. And I was surprised there was somebody that picked up like a $5,000 one or something like that. I was like,
oh shit.
Yeah, dude. So people are interested in these. And, I think when people see that these Kickstarters and crowdfunding projects are working, I think it might be the next thing for the music industry too.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. I mean, I only ever donated to one of them. It was a documentary on an MMA fighter. His name is Jens Pulver, and the documentary is called Driven. Like with that, they put my name in the credits. I got a signed DVD of the film. So, and I really want to get behind it because I always liked him. He's one of my favorite fighters from years and years ago. And he has a really interesting story. He has a book and stuff as well. But that's the only time I ever donated to one. But it's things that you really would like to see come out, but they just can't get there. Like, nobody's going to fund it. Like, you aren't getting record deals or movie deals, right? So I think it's a really cool way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been going on for like a while now, especially with like a lot of the the more indie guys, not really as many, you know, bigger guys like Erick Sermon and like the Ghetto Boys. I guess there aren't as many of these guys doing it, but obviously if it worked for him, like you said, it's going to keep happening. It's been going on for a while though, you know, like
for sure.
Guys have done it already. Yeah. And I'm just looking at like some of the rewards for the Erick Sermon one right now. Like 3 people back the $1,000 pledge, which gives you a Def Squad jacket and a platinum plaque. Like,
oh man.
Yeah, see, that's pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah, it is.
There's one for $2,000, which you get Def Squad jacket, 2 VIP backstage passes, a custom Def Squad rug.
What? A rug?
There's a $2,500 one, which is studio session with Erick Sermon himself, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
A $5,000 one, you get an exclusive beat from Erick Sermon, plus all the other stuff. And then there's $7,500, a music video by Erick Sermon and your own beat. And then a $10,000 one, which is, what is this? Like everything. Exclusive beat, music video, you hang out with Erick Sermon and all this shit. But no one got that one. But still, you know, there's like so many different perks, all the way down to $20 for the album, you know, for like a CD.
Yeah.
And like I said, $1 for a shout out or whatever. Or $10 you get a USB drive with the digital album. You know, so you still get a physical item.
Yeah, and I think this would be more like maybe a more friendly way for somebody like Rock Marciano to go about it, rather than charging, you know, $30 for his album right off, you know, or you know, like $100 for the vinyl. It's like, this is a more friendly way to do it.
Unless he's going to put the perks as, you know, pledge $30 and you get a digital download, $100.
Well, yeah.
I mean that's just outrageous. But yeah, no, this is a big thing in, you know, for making indie horror films and stuff. And I've seen shit, dude. There's movies I've seen where I know 20 people in the credits, kind of thing, right? So it's a really, really big thing with the indie horror film scene. So, but I kind of figured it was gonna. I didn't think guys like Erick Sermon and things like were gonna test this market, but it's really cool that it's working, and I have no problems with it. You know, like I said, a lot of people just kind of see it as begging for money, and they're taking the money and running. What do they need $60,000 to do an album for? But you got to remember, there's costs involved in everything, right?
Well, the one that really surprised me with all of these Kickstarters was the De La Soul album.
Right.
Yeah. But that was $100,000.
Yeah, that was the first one. I was like, damn, these like De La Soul is a, you know.
I think that's the first one that really kicked everything off, and like I think that's kind of why it got Erick Sermon to do it, because he saw that it worked for them. He saw it worked so well for them. You know, they're a really I would say they're a bigger name than Erick Sermon, right? In the whole, not even just in the hip hop world, but in like the world in general of music.
Yeah, they're a really, really established group. You know, it's like that was kind of surprising to me that they actually went about it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And he saw it work for them. So, I mean, and if it worked, I was surprised too, Jason. I was like, wow, and it worked so well for him too, you know?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Even though a lot of people didn't like the end product, but I like the idea behind what they did. I mean, to raise the $100,000 was insane, but I think it was kind of a cool process in what they did, you know, with, you know, recording all that shit. And who knows, you know, I mean, I liked the album when it first came out, but the more I listened to it, I was like, man, I don't know about this. You're like, man, Jay's right. This is shit.
Right?
I didn't think it was total shit. There is some shitty tracks on there, but I mean, I think if you cut out portions of it, I mean, there's some good points to it, but overall, it definitely came out as a weaker album to me for sure. But the point is, it's pretty damn cool that they actually did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but it goes to show, like, I mean, I didn't even know about the Ghetto Boys one. I probably would have fucking contributed to that, man. I mean, that's fucking cool. Yeah. It's damn Ghetto Boys, man. You know, Scarface. I mean, shit, dude. I don't know. But
you know who did this? Who did it a pretty cool way also was I think it was Cunning Linguist for one of their mixtapes. I forget which one it was exactly, but they did it this way, and then like however money like they got, I don't know if they used Kickstarter, but basically the people that were pledging got to pick the features that were on the record.
Oh, like, yeah, I remember that one.
You know what? Yeah. I actually forgot about that completely too. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Was it one of the Strange Journey volumes?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. Strange Journey 4 or 5. Yeah, one of those or something.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. So this has been, going on for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's really cool.
I like it.
I kind of, I mean, I hope it's not the complete future, where you have to, put, pledge on 1,000 different fucking records, trying to keep track of that. Like, I have a buddy that, it's actually kind of funny, man. He's really big into the crowdfunding Kickstarter stuff. He's an indie filmmaker himself, so he likes to support other indie filmmakers. And he was telling me one time that he had pledged so much to so many projects that he completely forgot about like half of them, and all of a sudden these movies were just like showing up at his door. He's like, holy shit, I pledged like 2-3 years ago on this one. All of a sudden this movie's at his door. He's like, I completely forgot about that shit. So you got to keep track. So the moral of the story is, if you're going to pledge to a bunch of these, you got to keep track of them. You got to keep track. So
yeah, some of these do take years to come out, right? Like, it'll take a while.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. I'm part of a couple different ones for Gutterballs 2 and a Dustin Mills film that I've been waiting for a couple years. 2-3 years now. So
that's the two that just came to my mind is Diabolic did that as well, and they scammed him. Like, he kept the money and shit too.
Yeah,
I was actually going to bring that up when we were talking about Diabolic earlier, but I knew it. I thought it might get brought up when we were talking about this. I'm glad that you brought it up, because I actually forgotten by then. But yeah, I remember that. And yeah, there was a big controversy about that. Like, everybody on social media was just like, "Fuck Diabolic, man! That guy's a piece of shit." But I mean, but essentially, he did keep the money, which is insane, because some of these programs are set up where, so if you're trying to raise $50,000 and if it fails, the money just goes back to the pledgers. Yeah. Right. The project fails, you get refunded, and that's it. Yeah. So I don't know what kind of program or Kickstarter or whatever he was doing that he was allowed to keep the money. That's insane.
It is.
Or did he meet his goal and just keep the money and not do the project? Kind of like, and that's what happened with Elzai. Like, he had met the $25,000, right, for the project, and then
Elzai did. Yeah. Elzai just didn't come out with the album for a long ass time.
Yeah, that's crazy. So was it Elzai's last record? Not this Jericho Jackson one, but it was his last album. What was it called? The Poison Pen?
The Lead Poisoning.
Lead Poisoning. Was that the album that was the crowdfunding?
I don't actually know. Might be, because he didn't really put anything out before that for ages.
There was a huge hiatus there. Right? Yeah, and that album all of a sudden just like came out. So I'm wondering if that was the product of the crowdfunding. I never actually thought about that till right now.
Wait, Diabolics was for Fighting Words? Was that the one?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
yeah, and he only asked. No, it wasn't Fighting Words. It was a different one.
I don't think it was. I think it was supposed to be for the album after Fighting Words.
Because there is a Kickstarter page for Fighting Words as well, where he asked for $4,000 and he made 13. So
okay, maybe that was the project then.
Hold on, but then it says, hold on, Diabolic hosts Kickstarter campaign, still hasn't fulfilled his end a years later. It's been a little over a year. People are still wondering where their stuff is. He continually posts about partying and drinking and blah blah
blah. Wow, is that not hip hop or what right there? Take the money and party.
That is hilarious.
It says the bulk of the people he scammed donated $200 to him. He has made up lies about having to send shirts back due to misprints. The cassettes vinyl were taking too long. He shouldn't have hosted the campaign until he had the merch ready to go. Elzai did the same thing. I'm sure it's a promo. I didn't say which album, though. God damn it. Oh, wait, this is 2015. So, yeah, it was that. It had to be for Fighting Words because the date makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but then he put it out on a label or something. It's like he kept the money from that, and then he put it out on a label after that and shit. And it's
it wasn't an indie release.
Yeah,
so
that's weird.
That's why I was actually thinking that it wasn't the album. But I mean, if the dates kind of, correlate with each other, I don't know.
There's a whole website called Kick Scammed, which is dedicated
to no way.
Oh, so this must happen on a regular basis then. Just people are just pulling shit left and right.
I have heard a lot of horror stories with people getting scammed and stuff, but
that's pretty bad, man.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, I've also seen a lot of projects that have fully went through and people have gotten their products, and so I don't know what the rate is on here. If it's but it seems like it's obviously probably more better.
Yeah. So I asked for $25,000 and he got 37. But where's the name of the goddamn album? He didn't put the name of the Elzai is. It doesn't say the name of the album, which is weird. I don't see it anywhere. It just says new Elzai album. but that's all that he.
Yeah, well, you would think that, you know, if you were pledging towards something, you'd be pledging towards the project. You would know what you're pledging towards.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not like an indie director posts up and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about making a new film. You guys want to throw me some money?" No, there's artwork and there's a concept and there's
you
a
have
synopsis.
To have some, you know.
And some of these guys even make trailers. You know, they'll fund the trailers and then, hey, can you know, I need you to fund the rest of the film.
Yeah,
right. It was lead poison for Elzai though. Yeah,
I
didn't realize. Yeah, it was lead poison. That's the name of the record. Yep.
Oh, yeah, so it did come. Okay, so that's good. At least those albums actually came out. You know,
right.
I kind of put them in the shit books there for a little bit. I'm like, really, you guys are taking the money and running?
Yeah.
Or partying in Diabolic's case.
I could definitely see Diabolic doing that and just laughing about it, right? It's like, I could definitely see him doing that.
Right. Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I don't care though, man. If I like the music, it's like, whatever. It's kind of comical. It's a shitty thing to do for sure, but I'm not going to not listen to the guy's music because of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is about the tunes, man. I mean, if I don't like an artist, I mean, there's lots of, you know, directors, you know, going back to movies and stuff that I loathe, and you know, I'll watch their movies because I'm watching for the entertainment value. I try to keep, you know, off the personal level.
Yeah.
You know, like Victor
I mean,
Salva.
there's lots of people in entertainment that do a lot of shitty things, but you know, you still watch the movies, you still listen to the music, whatever, right?
Yeah, especially in entertainment, because I mean, a lot of their personal lives, like, I mean, you know, you take somebody like Tom Cruise, for instance, man. Not a lot of people agree with, you know, the whole Scientology thing. They think that's bizarre and weird and stuff, but it doesn't stop people from watching his fictitious movies, right?
No,
He's
not
playing
at all.
characters. So I mean, sometimes you have to kind of separate yourself from reality and fiction. You know, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you call an album "Liar and a Thief," I mean, what the fuck do you expect to get, right? It's like,
dude, that's actually really funny. Even though that was his first record, but yeah. Moving along here, man. More Erick Sermon news. Apparently, he is it's not like new news, but he is executive producing Redman's Muddy Waters 2 album, and he's been on record quoting. He said that it will be a classic. Man, Redman's been just promoting the shit out of this Muddy Waters 2 record. I mean, that's the beauty of, you know, free, you know, having Instagram and all these outlets and things like that. You can just keep promoting your shit to death, right?
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And it looks kind of cool, man, because Redman seems like he's really fucking putting in the work on this record. I think he kind of knows, probably subconsciously, that he needs to do a great record, because his last couple, I think he's lost fans, man, to be honest. Like, I mean, no one's really digging those records. So really,
like you said, he's putting in the work for sure, but I mean, when you promote something this much and you build it up this much, it better not disappoint at all. Like, every goddamn song better be near classic level.
That's the byproduct of, you know, doing things these ways in today's world of social media. I think sometimes you can overhype things to the point where you get people so excited that it never could live up to their expectations after.
Yeah.
And I think I'm hoping this isn't going to be the case, because it seems like they've taken a different path with this record. I mean, Erick Sermon's involved. I'm assuming that he's probably going to do some beats on it and have other, you know, known producers producing on his record. And it seems like he's really putting in the work for this, and you got a lot to live up to, though, man. I mean, if you're going to call your album Muddy Waters 2 sequel, which we all know in the hip-hop realm that sequels to records do not do well. Like, I mean, how many sequel albums are just, like, not great? I don't know why people do it.
Anything, like in movies as well, like the sequels rarely hold up to the original.
Yeah.
And this is he's putting a lot of pressure on himself for sure. There's no questioning that.
Whatever happened to, like, the original concept for Muddy Waters was to be using like 90s beats. I think it was kind of like a Buck Wild self-titled thing. But
yeah.
Apparently, like, from the snippets that I've heard from this album, it doesn't sound like that at all.
No. Well, remember a little while ago, like, he was going on about, like, Ninth Wonder was offering to work with him and stuff, and he was going crazy about that. So is it going to be produced by a bunch of different guys? Or, because like you said, I think that's what they were saying initially, is it was going to be 90s beats, like, basically.
Yeah.
So
It was he wanted to capture a true sequel to Muddy Waters.
Yeah.
You know, Muddy Waters came out in, 96, I think? And, you know, I mean, we're 22 years later here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you want to capture that sound, you might want to be dusting off some old Buckwild beats, I guess, or something. But
I would definitely be down for that. I think that would be a really, really cool idea.
At the end of the day, I'm excited to hear this project because it's been such a long time coming. I mean, this project has been rumored for years. I mean, I can think of even 10 years now. You know, He's been talking about Muddy Waters too.
Yeah.
And it's finally seems like it's materializing to the point where we might even see it by the end of this year, I think. So,
I hope so.
I really, really hope, that it does, and it's good. Man, Redman needs this, man. He really does need this.
He does.
I think he needs this for Method Man also. To save that thing too, man. I don't know, man. Jesus.
Yeah, Redman is like quite a while. As a kid, Redman was probably my favorite MC, and then he just started putting out just shit after shit, and it was so disappointing. So, I pray to whatever God is out there that this is classic material.
Yeah, I got big hopes for this, man. I just don't want any glimpses of his past material, like I mean, that Reggie record. Oh my god, dude.
Oh man,
I can't even begin to understand what was going on with that one right there. It was definitely the point when, I mean, for Redman, what did you think of the Malpractice album that came out in 2001? Was that kind of the turning point for you?
I think that was the beginning of the end right there. Like that was trash, and then it just got worse from there.
Yeah, the Red Gone Wild record. Oh my god, in 2007.
Christ.
He took such a long period off from his, he took 6 years. That was like his longest hiatus there, and I remember the hype even for that record. It was like new Redman record, and I was like, finally listened to it and went, holy shit, man. That is fucking terrible. And then Reggie was so unlistenable, even for a collector like myself who has major OCD. When I like an artist, I buy their records. I didn't even buy Reggie. I don't have Mudface.
You know what album is just complete garbage if Moods doesn't buy it, just to complete the collection.
Yeah. I couldn't bring myself. It was so bad. Bad. So.
But did you guys hear like a deterioration for Redman's music though? Like when the album switched to Malpractice? Because I don't remember there being a kind of a decline point. It just seemed like straight up
it just happened. It was over.
Because I thought Dodge the Name 2000 was pretty good. There was some.
That was pretty good, yeah.
It definitely was a lot different than Muddy Waters, But that
it wasn't as good.
Yeah, but that was that. Like I said, that transitional period in hip hop. 98 hit. 98 hit, and all of a sudden everything was sounding so different, and hence even Redman stuff was sounding a lot different. But I still liked a lot of stuff on that record. But Malpractice. Oh man, I remember actually buying that record. I was living in Vancouver at the time. I was in school and in college and going, what the fuck? And my roommate fucking loved the album. He was playing it every single day. And I'm like, dude, it's not really the greatest shit, man. It was just, I remember us arguing about this album, Malpractice, and I'm like, even the album cover sucks. Come on, man. Jesus. Fuck off. Yeah. But then again, his favorite artist at the time, I think, was Busy Bone's solo stuff. It was really, I know, it was like, oh my God, dude, you can't live here anymore. But moving along here, man. So, You God put out his book last year, I believe. His memoirs last year. I think it was last year. And
last year.
Yeah, and there was allegations in the book about how he was owed a shitload of money from the Wu-Tang and the RZA and stuff like that, and how the Wu-Tang Clan was like a dictatorship and things like that.
Right,
so the RZA comes out and he's basically responding to You God's allegations about how he owed him a shitload of money and things like that. And the RZA's response is kind of funny. He kind of beats around the bush and he's like, sometimes books are fiction and sometimes they're nonfiction, and you kind of have to just like the way he responded to You God's story. So it's kind of interesting because You God has been kind of coined as being the crazy one from the clan. Like it wasn't at one point where he was actually kind of locked up, for being insane and shit like that. So this whole story is kind of interesting because this always happens. I mean, it's business, right? I mean, this is going back as far as NWA with Ice Cube leaving, leaving NWA because of royalties and shit like that. I want to know how much is actually the truth here, because he's claiming that, you know, the RZA owes, you know, even Inspected Deck and other guys from the clan a shitload of money, and he's been keeping it all for himself. Kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting.
Possible. I mean, if you have that many guys together, like enough people to form a clan, and you're in business together, there's going to be problems eventually, right? And it's like, and RZA does seem like the guy that was always, you know, he's kind of the mastermind of the whole project, right? So I could definitely see him keeping some cash.
Yeah, they literally coin him. They literally coin him as the leader of the Wu-Tang. So I'm assuming that he probably does a lot of, more or less, all the business aspect of it. And,
yeah, that's what I would assume.
You know, and to be fair, and
like, so I was going to say, I could see like some stuff falling through the cracks unintentionally at first, you know, and then maybe like some situation happens where it doesn't get worked out, and it just, you know, it keeps going and keeps going. I could see like, you know, a payment being missed maybe here or there, and then, you know, if you dwell on it for long enough, or it happens a couple times, you know, even by accident, then, and then he thinks maybe he forgot, you know, like just say he forgot to pay him. I don't know. I'm just, you know, just kind of spitballing here, but you know, I could see stuff like that with like Jason said, with the whole clan. You know, you have again so many dudes that.
Yeah. But that's the thing, man. You'd have to look at the contracts and like how everyone gets paid. Like, I don't know if these guys get paid, you know, based on an even scale, considering they're such a big group. You know, you put out an album, you know, it doesn't depend on how many verses and stuff you have on the records. Because I mean, you look at the Clan, what the album they put out a few years ago, not the last. I'm quoting with my fingers around Mathematics Wu-Tang album. That's not an action album, but their last album.
Aceyalone.
What the fuck was it called? Anyways, you guys not even on that record, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but I think he's responding to the fact of like royalties from
back in the day, right? Like 36 Chambers.
Back in the day, and also merchandising and things like that. Because I'm assuming that everybody probably doesn't have equal royalties off the merchandising and things. I'm assuming RZA probably controls that and probably has more percentage. But I always wondered how it worked with how everybody gets paid in the clan, because there's so many people. You know, within an album too. I mean, you look at it, not everybody has an equal portion to a record. You know, the RZA sometimes producing, he's doing verses on there, and then you got a verse here and there from like Method Man and the Genius Inspected Deck. It's not even. Right, so I'm wondering if he's looking at it like an even thing, like, oh, these guys are getting paid, you know, blah blah blah. I should be getting more royalties. But then again, You God doesn't really rap on. I mean, if you look at all the albums, he's not on them a whole lot.
Well, that's the thing, right? And it's that's what RZA was saying as well. He's saying it's a dictatorship, but like he's saying every guy has their own deal, basically. So I mean, you know,
you have to fight for your own, basically, for your own piece, right? Like. You can't just sit back and, you know, want it to be handed to you. Like, I'm sure, you know, Method Man and Raekwon and Inspected Deck have, you know, they all have people working for them trying to get as much as they can for them, you know? Either that, they talk to RZA. I don't know if they talk to RZA themselves. I'm sure they all, you know, they're business dudes, all talk to each other and then try to figure it out, you know? And maybe you guys just got mad. Like, I'm sure, you know, Method Man, since he's, you know, a lot more popular and he probably, you know, brings in more money than say a You God, you know, then he probably gets your piece. I'm sure there's something like that has to do with it too. So he's probably, you know, thinking it's not even, where it's not even, you know, there's people that are more popular, have more verses on different records, and just, you know.
Well, you look at 36 Chambers, man. You God, I think, only has one verse on the whole record, doesn't he? You know,
I think so.
The Mystery of Chess Boxing, because I think at the time he was incarcerated. So if you look at a situation like that, he's obviously not getting the same pay scale as somebody like Method Man, who has, you know, he's a big contributor to the album. Obviously, the RZA is the mastermind behind it all and stuff. So if you look at it in terms like that, I mean,
and he should, right? I mean, he it's only fair that the people who actually put in work and were there get their money. They don't get the money. That's how I look at it. At least,
and probably RZA as well. Like, he's, like you said, he's probably doing a lot of the business stuff. He's making all the beats. He's doing all this. He's probably putting in a lot more work than, like you said, a guy like You God that's dropping a verse here and there, right? So he's probably feels like, hey, I'm entitled to keep some of this money.
Right, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? You contribute more, you make more money. I mean, that's where, you know, going back to the Ice Cube story and stuff, where he was contributing a lot. I mean, he was writing those entire records and not getting anything out of it, kind of thing, right? He was the big, he was the big contributor. I mean, him and Dre were NWA basically at the time.
Any group, though, it's shit like that always happens. Like, it's always somebody complaining and bitching about stuff, money, right? So, you can't get away from it.
Especially if you're, the bigger, the more popular you are, the more of that is going to happen. So, the more money coming in, more of that's going to happen. So,
yeah.
Not really surprising.
No.
That is right, man.
It's business, baby. Fucks up everything.
Yeah.
It does.
It's the music business.
It is, man, and that's essentially what people kind of forget about it. This is what these guys do for a living. This is their job. It's a business, right? Just like people that go to McDonald's is a fucking business.
Yeah,
right.
They're
different
not
jobs got different pay scales.
Yeah, they're not doing this just for fun, even though I'm sure that they love it. It's their life, but they're not, doing it just for the fun of it. They're not doing it for free. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I totally get it, though. It's like he feels he's entitled to a certain amount of money, and if RZA owes him money, then he has a right to bitch about it, but,
Yeah. He is the you god, so.
Indeed he is.
Next up here, Run DMC. Raising Hell album is going to be the next album into the Library of Congress. Thought that was actually pretty interesting. I think last year's selection was NWA Straight Outta Compton. I think Lauryn Hill's in there also. But Raising Hell. That album is making... I was like...
It's an interesting selection.
I know. I'm not sure how I feel. Like, they could have probably found something better, but...
I thought it was interesting, and I was kind of thinking about this after. I mean, it does have, some tracks that... are very... I think the way they pick albums too, it's not like the best of the best. I think it's also... I mean, that obviously contributes to it a little bit, but it's also the albums that had a really big impact at the time.
Yeah, I was going to say the impact and maybe popularity at the time too, because obviously Walk This Way
that was
on their mind.
That's the song right there, right?
Yeah.
Right? It was kind of the bridge, and I think that's what they're kind of looking at with this and stuff. So,
yeah, that makes sense, and I'm not really... Yeah, I get it. If that's why... That's how they're looking at it, that makes total sense. But.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Another one that I thought was really interesting, too. Jermaine Dupri is being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
The Songwriters Hall of Fame?
Yeah, there's a Songwriters Hall of Fame, and this goes for any genre, right? Like,
well, that's very surprising. I never thought of Jermaine Dupri as a great songwriter.
That I thought about it too, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Jermaine Dupri hasn't put out an album since the fucking 90s. Like,
oh, but he has so many credits of production and songwriting. He has hundreds and hundreds everywhere.
He is in there because of
Rat.
Jump. Chris Cross's Jump, he wrote, this is how, but I was kind of sifting through his, his credits and stuff, and I'm like, he's wrote some pretty popular shit for sure, but man, he hasn't done nothing in so many, he's done a little bit in the last few years and stuff, but most of his stuff is, the real early 90s.
All his popular stuff, at least, all his, more well-known stuff is definitely, early stuff, but
it's definitely impact though, right? With Jump and all that type of stuff. I was like, holy shit, man. He that stuff had enough of an impact to the people that induct into the Hall of Fame.
I guess
to accept Jermaine Dupri.
It's a Songwriters Hall of Fame. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem logical to me.
Well, the interesting thing is he's the second artist, second hip hop artist inducted to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and I was like, why Jermaine Dupri? They must be just going off of popularity. Because let's face it, man. Chris Cross's Jump was fucking massive. That's ridiculous.
Who was the other one that was indicted to the?
Jay-Z was the first one.
Jay-Z was the first one. Huh?
Jay-Z.
Huh.
We'll never see any of the what we consider better songwriters in there.
But I'm kind of curious why they wouldn't put I don't know, just maybe one of the. Wait, are these just artists that are songwriters also, or is it just songwriters in general for anything?
Like the Hall of Fame itself?
Do you know how that works? Is it?
Yeah,
like
I would like to know like what the qualifications are, to get in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So I mean, you think songwriters, you're thinking guys like I don't know, like classic like Bob Dylan shit, like
Well, yeah, I think of a lot of ghostwriters. I mean, obviously Jermaine Dupri technically is ghostwriting because a lot of people probably thought that Criss Cross was writing their own lyrics, but no, it's not the case. It's actual people writing songs. So yeah, guys.
Yeah, but that's not a good song though, man. Like that's like Jump, for Christ's sakes. Like that song is, it's just a fun song.
They're completely going off popularity and how.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That must be what it's based on.
I mean, but guys like Bob Dylan, who we just mentioned, are obviously in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and there's like a million guys who didn't even put out fucking albums. They were strictly songwriters that you'll find in there too. You're like, who the fuck is this cat? And you're like, oh, he wrote all these songs. Crazy.
Yeah, that makes sense though. But I'm just saying, like,
but there's guys that
I don't think anything that Jermaine Dupri put out is like you would consider a really good song. Like,
I actually kind of thought it was an insult to hip hop. I was like, Jermaine Dupri is representing the genre of hip hop in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, that's embarrassing to me. Yeah. I actually thought it was embarrassing. Like, I completely understand like how this is just blowing people's minds.
Jay-Z, I can understand. I don't know about songwriting, but just like in general for representing hip hop in that aspect. Oh, okay, I can get with that.
Yeah, at least Jay-Z has like some classic songs, like as far as what he's written. But I mean, Jermaine Dupri is like, most of his songs are like party jams and shit. Like, they're meaningless stuff.
Yeah, my point exactly. It's so embarrassing. It's like embarrassing.
That is strange, man. Like, holy shit.
So you mean to tell me? So this actually happened. Like, I think he's being inducted this June or July or so. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't think it's happened quite yet. But, so you mean to tell me that Jermaine Dupri is inducted into the into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, representing hip hop before somebody like Nas,
right?
Whose Illmatic album,
Madness,
is sitting in the fucking Harvard vault.
Yep.
But Jermaine Dupri gets a nod before somebody like Nas, whose Illmatic record has been dissected by psychologists and gets taught there.
Yeah.
But Jermaine Dupri...
Look at Nas's catalog altogether. I mean, it was written as a classic. Like, Stillmatic is like, Jesus Christ. Like, his songs actually are very... I don't know, they're vivid. Like, you can see pictures from what he's saying. Like, it takes somebody like me that's never been in New York and lived where he's lived right there. Whereas Jermaine Dupri's like writing shit for Criss Cross and DeBrat, shit like that. It's like,
I Gave You Power is a better written song than every Jermaine Dupri song combined.
Not even close, man.
Like, I Give You Power is a great example of a great and well written song.
Yeah.
How the fuck does Jermaine Dupri get in there over somebody like Nas?
I don't know, man. He must have paid them to put him in there or some shit.
I mean, guys like Scarface they're never, ever going to get a nod. Guys who write fucking deep, dark, amazing songs.
Yeah.
If you dissect even Scarface, like, it's crazy, man. Yeah, how well he writes songs, like his solo stuff, it's crazy. Yeah. He'll be the first to admit the Ghetto Boy stuff was just, he was never wanted to do the Ghetto Boy stuff, right? So,
yeah.
Jermaine fucking Dupri, seriously,
Hall of Fame member.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But you know what? Let's just leave it at that. Because it's just blowing my head off right now. Like, I seriously cannot even wrap my thoughts around this, but...
can't wrap around it. Amazing.
It's just brutal, man. Roxanne Shante has a movie out. They made a movie about Roxanne Shante's life.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I think it was on Netflix actually.
It's a Netflix original movie, I believe.
No way! I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, it's called Roxanne. So I have yet to check it out. I don't think it's actually on the Canadian Netflix. So I'm gonna have to wait till I get a chance to check it out. But I thought that was really intriguing that Roxanne Shante has a biopic made about her life. But in retrospect, and I think back on it, I mean, she does have quite an interesting career. and life.
Yeah.
Starting back when she was like 14 in her battle with UTFO and shit like that. It's pretty interesting. I can't wait to check it out. I've heard nothing but good things about it, so that's really cool. At least, filmmakers are making movies about... This should make films about Nas, too.
Yeah.
Maybe when he gets into the rock and roll Songwriters Hall of Fame. Or it's not even the rock and roll, it's the Songwriters Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah, I was looking there. It's like the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame or something. It's like, what?
Jermaine fucking Dupri. What the fuck?
Dupri. Yeah. Wait, so is this film like is it like a documentary, or is it? Oh wait, hold on a second. It's a dramatization of her life, so it's kind of like
it's a biopic. It's an actual movie.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's an actual movie. Yeah. Not a documentary style. So it's pretty cool. There's somebody playing her, and
Nia Long is in it. Shante Adams, who I've never heard of, is playing her. So I don't know who that is, but
her name is actually Shante. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but it's spelled instead of Shante, it's Chante.
Huh.
Have to be different. Kevin, what's his name? Kevin Phillips is playing Marley Marl, so that's kind of funny. Who's playing MC Shan? Arnstar? I have no idea who that is.
I never even thought about that. I guess they would have to have the whole Juice crew in there, right? He's playing Mass Ace and Craig G and Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap. They're all represented in there. That's cool.
That's what immediately came to my mind. Is there might be some pretty cool stuff, like in the studio type stuff or whatever with them.
It would be cool if they just got like they did for fucking Belly, like if they got actual rappers, like if they got Nas to play Nas, that would make sense.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it, then I get it. But I mean, that would make sense.
I think to some people it comes off as a little bit cheesy. I mean, if you had Cool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane's actually played in a bunch of movies before. It's odd. Right? Like he does these indie films and shit, but I don't know about Cool G Rap and stuff, but I don't know. Sometimes it comes off as being a little bit cheesy to throw a real person there and they don't know how to act, and you're like, yeah, he really can't act. But he's playing himself, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But,
I mean, fucking, I'm sure Nas isn't a bad actor at all. You got fucking Tremaine Brown Jr. playing him. I have no idea who that is. But I guess a lot of these same people were from that show, The Get Down. I don't know if you guys...
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I watched that.
So they actually have like real actors in there and shit. That's cool.
Right. So yeah, they got all of them on here though. Fucking Mr. Magic, Nas, Bismarcky, MC Shan, Marley Marl. Fucking all these dudes are in here.
That's dope, man.
I'm always a little suspect of these type of films. Like if it's a documentary, I would be more interested.
RZA did the
production value looks fantastic on it though. It really it does look good. Yeah,
music too. So which is pretty cool. Produced by Forrest Whitaker and Pharrell Williams.
Well, that's cool, man. I mean, I respect those guys.
Yeah, it might be good. I'm actually going to check it out now. I just saw it was on there like a few days ago. I never really check out like the movie section. I think I probably let's see. Yeah, I just saw it was on there, so I'll check it out. I'll report back and let you guys know.
Well, maybe when we do a show in another 3 months, we can, if we've all checked it out, we can actually have like a mini review of Roxanne.
Yeah. Hook up a movie review on here.
So I thought this was... Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, why? Yeah, might as well. I mean, that'd be pretty cool if we start. There's a bunch of fucking different hip-hop movies we could talk about for sure. There's a bunch of good ones, so... I actually
thought of that. I thought of that when we first started the show of doing... films like say like A Menace to Society that has that, iconic soundtrack, that we could talk about the movie and the soundtrack, movies that have the soundtracks. I mean, just use that as an idea, but anyways, moving along here. So I thought this was kind of intriguing. Erick B and Rakim have announced a brand new tour. This is the first, this is going to be the first show they've done in 25 years. So obviously that's why they're doing it. So they're back together after 25 years, and their first show is April 8th. Now, we're recording on April 7th. You guys probably won't hear this till after April 8th. So that's kind of intriguing. Like, it just got announced. I'd go check that out in a second, man. Erick B and Rakim in 2018.
Sure.
That's fucking cool, man. That's really cool shit, man. So,
I got fucking tickets on April 15th, so... We'll see. They're playing at a...
They're playing close to you on April 15th?
Yep. at a theater at like a it's not like a I don't know how many people actually this seats, but it's not a huge place.
Like maybe a couple thousand or something.
4,800, 4,800 seat capacity. That sounds about right for them.
Yeah,
dude, I would go to that in a second, man.
I'd go to that for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many people actually show up in Connecticut because they have a Boston date and a couple New York dates, like pretty much right before that. And then I'm curious to see how many people actually show up in Connecticut for that.
Out of curiosity, what are the tickets running on that?
There was no prices. Okay.
Yeah, I paid, I want to say $35. I think, and then with fees, it was like 40, I think, or something like that. 40.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable.
Not bad. Not terrible. I mean, there were more expensive tickets if you wanted to get, like, you know, they're like $60 tickets, but that was like the most it was like 60 to get.
They have any like VIP passes or anything?
I'm sure they did. I didn't really look into that, but I'm sure they do because they always have stuff like that for the bigger shows. So I'm sure that would be more expensive, but I didn't look into that.
Yeah.
Well, take notes of the show, man, and to report back.
Definitely. Man. I'll try to get some clips. I'm also curious if they have any, because it's all general admission seating from what I understand, the place that I'm going to. So I guess it's just, you know, whenever you buy your tickets, you get a better seat or a worse seat. The only other person on the lineup that day is some, I don't know if she's a rapper or a singer, but her name is Yo-Yo. I've never heard of her.
Like with Ice Cube's Yo-Yo?
That's what the first thing that came to mind. I was like, Ice Cube's Yo-Yo?
No. I don't know if it's the same one. It might be this. If it is, that would be interesting, but I'm not really too excited about that. I was hoping that would be like a little bit of a better opening act, but I don't know. Hold on, let me check it out real quick. You guys,
it can't be fucking dude. That's like the weirdest show of all time. Erick and Rakim on a reunion show with Yo-Yo.
Man, I'm just looking at an advertisement and it just says Yo-Yo, like exactly like her name. So who else could it be? Like there can't be another Yo-Yo.
You can't play with my Yo-Yo. You can't play with my Yo-Yo.
Oh yeah, check her out. It was just like her. She's got the fucking hair going and everything. Dude, oh yeah, it's her.
That has to be the most random.
It is her. I just saw a picture of it. Like it has. Yeah, that's definitely her.
Okay, how does this come about? So Erick and Rakim doing a fucking tour. So who do we want to get to open up? Why not Yo-Yo?
Yo-Yo.
Let's call up Yo-Yo from the West Coast.
That is...
Dude, that is so fucking bizarre.
I'm so curious. Is she on every date or just on my date? Hold on, I'm trying to see now.
I think so. The one I'm looking at, they have like the whole tour listed is from like April 8th through May 3rd, and it has that one picture, and it has her listed. So
yeah, it has her for like every date, New York too, and Philly, and all the other ones. So I guess that's Yo-Yo.
You know,
it's a package deal. It's a package deal right there. Erick B and Rakim and Yo-Yo.
The only thing that they have in common is that they're from like the old school.
Yeah.
You know, so I think a lot of the fans that are going to see Erick B and Rakim probably know who Yo-Yo is. You're probably not going to get the younger generation. So in that aspect, it does make a little bit of sense, but it's pretty cool actually that Yo-Yo is still doing shows. I mean, really, like her last album came out in '96, man. You know, she did have a shelved album in '98, but it's crazy, man. You know, gotta work.
Gotta work.
I'm so like, dude, the music is so fucking different, dude. Like Yo-Yo, and straight up West Coast stuff. I mean, Q produced for her and shit. Like, it's crazy. And then it's the Erick B and Rakim. Wow.
It would make so much more sense if you went on tour with Ice Cube, fucking Erick B and Rakim. What the?
That's like the oddest pairing for a show. Like, oh man, that's blowing my mind right now.
I know.
Yo-Yo.
I just found out right now. I'm so amazed. I don't even know what to say.
As soon as you said it, I was like, "Is there like a new Yo-Yo?" But then I was like, "It's got to be Ice Cube's Yo-Yo." I mean, there's no other Yo-Yos.
Oh man.
I figured it was
dude,
like
you gotta get hype when she plays Stomp into the 90s, man. Dude, I'm fucking. This is crazy, man.
Oh, I want to go to this more now just to see Yo-Yo.
Man, you got to remember, Homegirl don't play that.
Oh my god.
Actually, I don't mind that song. Actually,
yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, it's funny.
This is amazing.
Damn, that has to.
All right, well, I'll definitely try to get some clips of Yo-Yo as well. And
you have to.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's priceless, man. It's priceless. This would make a funny segment to go through tours and history and find the most bizarre pairings. This has to be up there, though.
Yeah.
For $35, how can you pass up a show with Erick B and Rakim and Yo-Yo?
Oh,
I would pay that just to see Yo-Yo.
What? Dude, in 2018 seeing Yo-Yo? Yeah, man. Fuck yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, she looks pretty damn good in that picture that I saw. I mean, I don't know how old she was when she came out with Ice Cube back in the day, but
make way for the mother load. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay, cool. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
There's some news for you. There's some tour news.
That's crazy shit, man. Well, that's all I got. Jay, do you got anything?
I just have a couple little things here. One story I found kind of interesting is Sticky Fingers from Onyx. He went on to Reddit and he posted on there that he's looking for this dude that he had purchased Jam Master Jay's studio. Because apparently he had there's a lot of unreleased Onyx songs that were in that studio. So he figures this guy has it because once he bought the studio, everything was his. So he went on Reddit and some dudes found the guy on Facebook and they gave it to Sticky Fingers and he's like, God damn, I was looking for this for like 2 hours on Facebook trying to find this guy and you just found him like that.
2 hours?
Yeah, he was sitting on Facebook for 2 hours trying to search out this guy like with his name because he had the guy's name but he couldn't find him. So anyway, he said that if he gets the songs from the guy, he's gonna release them. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Some real old Onyx shit.
So this might be like pre-back the fuck up stuff, early recordings and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully the dude's not a fucking complete dick about it and just fucking, Well,
that's the thing, right? You never know. Like he probably doesn't even know what the hell it is. Like he just bought the studio or whatever. So
they they never tried to get these recordings after Jam Master Jay passed away?
Yeah.
No, I guess he said like he was really horrible. Like they were horrible at going after that type of stuff, and like he just kind of got lost in the mix or whatever. So when all that shit went down, and then the studio got sold, it's like they were gone, and now he's just trying to find them because he's interested in putting them out and hearing them again. So, yeah.
Wow.
Now I'm curious what else is what else has been lost to the years is sitting in that studio unreleased.
Well, that's exactly what I thought as well. If their shit was in there, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other unreleased stuff as well that guy probably has. So that could be very interesting to see what comes out of that.
Jam Master Jay studio. I'm sure fucking a bunch of legends came through there for all those years that fucking he was doing music and production. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty intriguing actually.
Man, so hopefully he does get them back. That would be awesome if the guy gives them back to him, like for, I don't know if he's trying to make money off it or whatever, but it'd be cool if he just gave it to him and said, here you go, man.
Which, almost never happens. Everything's about the almighty dollar at the end of the day. But could you imagine just, going into that studio and just starting to put on like reels of tape?
Right.
And you'd be like, man. Oh my God, this is fucking awesome. I would freak out just looking at labels and shit. I'd be like, okay.
Oh my God.
I'd be like, this is crazy, man.
Yeah. And I guess they said the guy owned a record store. So he's probably, even if he's not like a big hip hop fan, I'm sure he's aware of who Onyx is. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm curious if he bought the studio just because it was Jam Master Jay's or just because it was a studio. Like, did he know he was, I'm assuming he knew he was buying Jam Master Jay.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
It was definitely being marketed as Jam Master Jay's studio. So he probably paid for it.
Knowing that there's some stuff probably left in there from other artists, I'd be fucking, I want to know how much he paid for it now. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, it would be interesting to hear that story. It's like you said, man, if you just walked in that studio and you just see all this shit, it's like, where do you start listening, right? It'd be crazy.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's cool. That could be some great news for a bunch of unreleased music for everyone, so we'll see.
Yep. So the online manhunt worked for Sticky Fingers. He found his man, so that was pretty cool. And the other little piece of news I had is sort of the feel-good story of the week is Cameron. He bailed out his man Juelz Santana out of jail. Put up like $500,000 from what I understand.
I swear I read that there was no bail for him, but
I didn't hear
it was $500,000.
Yeah, he was in jail for like almost a month. I think they were holding him in jail because he got caught at the airport or whatever with guns and drugs.
Oh,
like,
he ran.
who the hell takes guns and drugs to the airport? Like, what is wrong with you?
Somebody that's on drugs and packing guns.
Oh man,
Dude.
then he just bailed. He just bailed and then eventually turned himself in.
I love the story because he like ran.
Yeah,
like fucking bailed, man.
Yeah.
Well, originally the judge had actually granted no bail for him, so they must have raised the stakes, and then of course Cameron, he got that type of expendable loot, $500,000.
Yeah,
he doesn't get that shit back, right?
I don't know if he put it all up, but that's the way it was. That's the way it was made to look. Is that he just bailed it?
That's county money now, man. Fuck.
Yep.
He must really love Santana.
Man. You probably put up a fucking surety by like 10% of that. Still that's still a hefty bit of dough, but unless his bail was actually like $5 million or something, then because I think it's usually like 10% or 5% or something. So, but still, I mean, if he doesn't go to court, then he's definitely losing all that fucking money. So, and judging by Juelz Santana going to airports with guns and drugs, I wouldn't be surprised if he skipped court too.
Oh man, because didn't they had beef like a while ago, didn't they? There was something going on with them, like Cameron and Juelz Santana.
Yeah, I believe so.
Could you imagine if he did like take off or some shit and like he's left like all that cash is gone, like oh shit.
It's just to fuck with them.
I smell another beef happening.
Yeah, man.
Jesus, man, $500,000 though. That's a lot. You're showing some love, man.
Definitely.
So that's where that's where holy shit. I mean, that's where all those fucking Lamborghinis and pink suits came from. Now we know. Fucking loaded
suits. That's so true. And those big fucking those furry hats and shit that he wears. Furs and shit. Oh my god.
Yeah. Fucking fur. So bad.
Yeah, fur coats and shit, man.
That's cool. Good fucking Cameron bailing out his boy. I mean, they haven't made music together in years, but I'm sure that obviously they're still close. So.
Yeah.
Still close to enough. So. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the feel-good story of the week,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. So that's it for the news. I guess you didn't have any news there, did you, Tom?
No. Nothing to add.
All right. Cool.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
All right, so moving along here, let's get into real talk here, and we don't really have a title for this new segment, but I'm just gonna dub it Trash Bag. This is basically where we pick a record that we all mutually agree is trash. We're gonna talk about it. So for this opening inductee, this record, well, I shouldn't say record, it's actually an EP, from Westside Gunn and Mr. Green, called Fly God Is Good All the Time. Now, there's so many ironies involved in this little 50-minute EP here.
It's amazing how much can come out of one single 15-minute EP.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this is fucking crazy. So, I'm not really, a Westside Gunn fan. I'm a big Mr. Green fan, so I was like, I gotta check this out. Jay says to me one day, he's like, yo, man, you check out that Mr. Green Westside Gunn EP? I'm like, no, I gotta check that shit out. He's like, oh, you gotta check it out, man.
Because I know how big of a Mr. Green fan you are. Like, you love everything he drops, right? So I was like, man, when he hears this, it's gonna, like, break his heart.
Yeah, dude. I mean, heart was just shattered, man. Okay, where do we even start with this, man? I don't understand the appeal in Westside Gunn at all. I mean, this guy is spitting some straight trash over Mr. Green beats. Like, I can't even begin to start. Like, do you even call that a flow? Like, the guy can't even spit more than one line without pausing. And
that's the thing, man. It's like, I don't know. Like, before, when I originally started listening to him and Conway, it's like, obviously Conway is the he's worlds apart from West Side Gun as far as I'm concerned. But
Yeah.
I actually started liking him. I was like, this isn't bad. Like his first stuff he put out, and then as time is going on, it just seems to be getting worse and worse. He's like more concentrated on these little sound effects, like the. It's like come on, man! Like just start rapping. Like fuck. It's like
as most rappers would increase their talent, West Side Gun chooses to to get worse with his.
Yeah, man, these little sound effects and shit all the time, and it's like come on, dude. Like
I
man.
truly think he's just trying to brand himself with those sound effects and shit. He's the MC8 and the Gia, and how people have their things. I can see what he's doing there, but dude, you got to be able to spit some bars, man, to back up your brand a little bit. Like
that's the thing.
I don't understand what Mr. Green was thinking here. I mean, to me, the beats aren't his greatest work, but the beats aren't overly that bad. But you can't even focus on the beats because all you hear is this really broken flow of just nonsense. It's appalling how bad this is to me. I can't even believe it. And
that's a good way to put it. Broken flow. That's basically what it is.
It is. It has no flow to it. And I mean, and to name this shit "Fly God is Good All the Time." I mean, is that not the most ironic title ever? Because this shit ain't good through the 15 minutes. That's for damn sure. And I dubbed this segment called "Trash Bag," named after one of the tracks, ironically again titled "Trash Bag" on here.
Trash Bag. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only positive I got out of this was the first song, like the first beat was it did definitely sound like a Mr. Green beat. Like it was, the simple loop beat, and it's it's what Mr. Green does. It's like, it's good shit.
Yeah.
But after that, man, it's like, God damn, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And the beats got worse too, I thought. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus. I don't know if it was leftover shit like the Mr. Green had. Like you mentioned as well earlier, Moods, when we were off air, that maybe it was just some stuff he had and somehow they hooked up and this came out. But I can't see how either one of them can be happy with this product, really.
Well, that was my whole thinking. I'm like, Mr. Green generally puts out pretty solid stuff. And, after they recorded this, did he truly think that, this is good enough to put out? Or did he just do it because he'd worked with West Side Gun?
Yeah,
I don't understand the final product here because this has no consistency. It's just so unlistenable. It's like I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times now, and it's not very often that it gets worse with every listen. Like how many projects do you listen to and you go, man, that gets worse every time? Like he's got a track in here.
It started out pretty low, right? And now it's like each consecutive listen, it just keeps going lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
Like the track 8 seconds, man. I mean, he can't even go 8 milliseconds spitting bars, man. It's just, holy shit, dude. I don't even know how to classify that. What the fuck is this?
I don't know. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened.
It's a what the fuck. That's the only way to describe it. There's actually a perfect comment on this would be, there's all these, so we're reading comments on the video on YouTube before coming on here. And one of the comments, which I just saw, and I don't know if this before, is Canada Goose. That's all it says. I don't know what it means, but it's Canada Goose.
maybe it's like a lyric I missed. I don't know.
Another one is "This My Slime for Life." Unbelievable talent. Peace King. I mean, there it is. That says it all. Jamal Redfern.
But the thing about it is like I've seen reviews posted on it, like on Hip Hop DX and shit, and like they're giving it like 3.6 out of 5. Like for me, this is more like maybe a 2 out of 5 at best.
It's that.
Yeah.
The beats aren't terrible. Just for the beats, I would give it that. But
yeah,
I mean, just from the comments, like whoever disliked this, find a bridge and jump off head first. Cool.
Well, I don't know. There's a couple of nice bridges here in Halifax, so I know where I'll be heading after the show.
I've got some bridges around here too, man. I guess
if I had to listen to this every day, I would take a header off a bridge for sure.
I just don't understand how people can listen to this and say it's like the next coming. This is, hip hop is finally back. What?
Yeah.
The hell are these guys listening to? Little Yachty and fucking Little Uzi Freak and fucking all these other cats? Like, I don't get. I mean, compared to them, I guess this is good. I don't know. where these people are coming from.
One positive for Mr. Green out of this is like it does bring him one step closer to Eminem, I guess, like where he signed these guys. So and Mr. Green seems to have this fascination with working with Eminem, so maybe that's why he did it. I don't know.
You know what? That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, I mean, Westside Gunn is, you know, quite popular right now, so I mean, Mr. Green, you know, jump on that opportunity, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Get his name out there. But
yeah,
but at the end of the day, it's still about producing a good product. Like this is to me unlistenable, and I don't say that very often about projects. Like you could, I'm one of those people. I always try to find the good in things, and like I'm having a hard time with this, man.
Yeah,
this is really appalling. I find it kind of embarrassing, to be honest. Like considering how much I dig Mr. Green, you know, and I just, oh man,
Mr. Green doesn't need to put his name out there. He doesn't need to go on a, you know, make a project with someone popular just to put his name out there. He's pretty damn well known, you know, by people that know hip hop. You know, his name is out there.
He has worked with a lot of, you know, underground cats and legends, you know, in that
very talented rappers for a few years now, right? So I don't understand how this came to fruition either, other than, I mean, this shit is fucking saving hip hop. I mean, according to Daniel Morales, Fly God is a respawn.
Daniel, are you listening to this?
Yikes, that was so fire. According to Droogie Hauser. I mean, I don't get it. I don't hear it. We don't hear the fire. I mean, there are a lot of flame emojis in these comments, but I mean, if that's what it takes to get a flame emoji, then I mean, I'm
using the flame emoji as in a different perspective. I'd be like, man, burn this shit, like right now, you know?
Okay, here's one. Sleep Dirty Jazz Set says, gorgeous production by my man. I think he meant but my man. WG gets a little lazy with the lyrics on some of these EPs. A little lazy?
There's no lyricism here, man.
He's like passed out for 3 days sleeping on the couch. Like, this isn't lazy, man. This is horrible.
Dude, if you can't even put a single rhyme to get like back-to-back lines.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
That is the epitome of lazy shit, man.
Yeah.
One of the best comments on this has to be, I don't know if you guys saw the cover, obviously, for this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone, F you pay me, says, like, the thumbnail or looks like in a cover looks like Michael Rappaport cross-dressing as a nun.
Oh shit!
I mean, the cover is the best part of this record. That's all I can say about it. The cover is what's the best part for me. Everything else, it's like, what the fuck? A big what the fuck? Like,
fuck it, man. We should call this segment Trash Bag, man. I mean, named after the Westside Gunn song Trash Bag.
Trash Bag on my stick. That's what it should.
Yeah. I'd be interested, though, if people have heard this that are listening to this show. What did you guys think about this? What was your first impression of Fly God is good all the time? I want to hear that.
Yeah, man. Like, I posted, I guess, my minor thoughts in the group page on this. And, I mean, not too many people commented on it, but I'm assuming they heard it. I don't know. But
no one really fucking said that you were crazy for disliking it. So I don't think that maybe that means we're not really alone in our consensus here of, you know. But I mean, obviously we are, because fucking look at all these fucking praising comments on here, and you know, just, I mean, obviously we're the wrong, you know.
Well, like you said, though, it's like this.
We're the wrong demographic for this, I think, man. Yeah, I'm just not. I don't know.
Like, Westside Gunn is like, you know, and Conway are the new big thing in the underground hip hop world, right? So when people latch onto it, it doesn't matter what they put out; they're gonna praise it automatically. It's like they get caught up in it. It's like, oh yeah, this is the best. Like, but like you said, Moods, it's a broken flow. It screws up everything, man. The whole album is it's trash bag.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's straight trash bag, man. Like he's not spitting bars. He's just putting words in there.
Yep.
Anybody can do that shit, man. I mean, and making sound effects and shit. What the fuck is that? That's the whole record. I'm going to put some Mr. Green beats over this.
He probably put more goddamn work in making sound effects on this thing than he did actual verses.
There is no verses, man. It's like... it's just a bunch of random words, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in these sessions, too. Like, what the fuck he was doing?
I'm wondering, like, probably Mr. Green just, like, sent him the beats, and he was, like, going nuts, like, making these sound effects on them, and then after... He probably laid the sound effects down first, and then he's like, I'm gonna craft my rhymes around these sound effects.
Craft my rhymes?
Shit.
Oh, man. Damn.
Dude, the fucking new record produced by Mr. Green featuring the sound effects of West Side Gun. 2018.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
West Side Gun should do like Halloween soundtracks or something, just crazy Halloween sound effects, you know? It's like, I'm in the sound effects business now.
Word.
You make a killing. Make a killing fucking doing sound effects records.
Oh, man. I just don't get it. I really don't understand how...
I mean, if Eminem hears this, he's going to say, okay, whoever produced this, I never want to work with him. And by the way, West Side Gun, I think I'm just going to sign Conway. I don't think I want to do business with you anymore.
No shit, man. No shit. But then again, does Eminem... I mean, this is like on the same page as Eminem's last record. It's just straight trash bag.
True. Yeah. True.
I still didn't listen to that, by the way.
Let us know what you think of this trash bag, and
Jay, you really should, man, because it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
just to lack of a better adjective, but it's actually unbelievable.
Man, I don't know. I might.
You should just take the whatever it is, that 55 or 60 minutes out of your life, check it out, and just be like, holy fuck, just to say you listen to it.
Yeah, maybe I will.
It probably would have been better if it was, 15 minutes like this Fly God is good all the time bullshit.
Yeah, that is the one good thing. It is only 15 minutes, so, and where I listened to it probably 5 times just to try to convince myself that it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't happening.
I'm honestly surprised it even lasted 15 minutes, considering there's like no lyrics in this shit at all. Mm-hmm. Right? It's crazy. Whatever you want to call it. Bunch of fucking words.
Many fucking dope quotables in this, that fucking so many doots and booms and skleet and and whatever.
Yep. At least I did start laughing at that at some point. I was like, oh my god, this is funny. It's like, doo, 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 doo.
I was so appalled I had my jaw up, but I couldn't laugh. I was like, what am I listening to right now? Sound effects over green beats? Like, I don't get this, man.
I'd love to see your face when you put it on. You're like, oh.
This shit's going to be sold at Party City in a year, the sound effects of fucking... Holy man. That's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, so it would be interesting, though, to hear some of your guys' thoughts on this, because, I mean, online it seems to be pretty positive, but obviously that's totally against what we're saying.
Yeah.
I find that we can't be fully in the minority here, or are we? Like, I don't know where we fully stand here, because I just don't understand how anybody could say that's good.
No,
I don't think we're fully the minority. I'm sure there's quite a few other people who would agree with us, because even if you look at like the views that this is getting compared to like his other stuff, it's not really that many. Like his like other work seems to have, well, actually maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like it would have a lot more listens and views. It would have, like people that really go hard for like whatever West Side Gun, they like love it, they go crazy for it. So it could be just like the hardcore fans that are, like you said, it's something new on the underground scene, and so they're latching onto it no matter what. Give it a couple weeks and they'll be like, what the fuck, move on to the new thing.
Yeah.
So, but
I feel like that's what it is. It's like a pastime until the next thing comes out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, well, trash bag of the week right there.
Trash bag it.
These are a bunch of arrogant pieces of trash. Trash. You've just pissed in the trash can.
So we do have a couple questions here that were posted in the group. First up from Zach. He asked, what's your favorite hip-hop albums for hitting some skins?
That's a good question, Zach.
Oh, man, that shit cracked me. Hey, anybody want to start?
Yeah, the only one that came to mind is Sex Packet's Digital Underground.
Nice.
That's kind of what I had too. I couldn't really think of anything. Like, I don't know what. I don't really. I would probably not. I would say like Marvin Gaye. Maybe that's a good hip hop album. Anything by Marvin Gaye is a good hip hop album. For hitting some skins.
Can't get any more soulful than that. Jesus. Man, honestly, man, when I was younger, I used to love to throw on Too Short, man.
Oh, yeah.
Just the dirty ass shit, man. Everything from like the original Blowjob Betty and shit. I don't know what it was. It's just that shit would just kind of get your mind into the right place, and that's where it's at, man. That real dirty shit.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, man, that was the short dog. Derek, he asks, what do you guys feel are some of the most underrated DJ Premier and Pete Rock productions?
Ooh.
Underrated?
Underrated is kind of hard.
Yeah, for these two, like like Tom just said, it is hard because not many things they put out fly under the radar, and they aren't really underrated.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of for Primo was the work that he did with Buckshot LaFunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
When he co-produced that shit. And, not a lot of people talk about that, or even, I don't think even realize that he was involved with that first record. But that is some pretty cool shit, though, man. That's a good album.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, with Primo, I find a lot of his newer stuff doesn't get recognized as, nearly as much as the older stuff did, for sure. Like, I mean, he's done work with, like, Vinny Paz, like The Oracle. I thought that beat was just a banging beat for Vinny to go over. Yeah. And even on Apathy's new album there, The Order, that's really cool, too. Mm-hmm. Like, he's done work with Diabolic, with Diabolical Sound. So those type of beats are, they're in more of the underground than what his normal stuff that gets praised would be, I think. But definitely, I would say anything that is newer from Premier is kind of underrated.
I would say for Primo, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a album by a dude called J-Rock from the early 90s called Streetwise. Oh, and he had some great production on that. It's actually production by DJ Premier, did a few tracks on it, which is really good. Easy Mo B produces a track on it, and then J-Rock himself does production on it. I think that's really underrated. I never really hear anyone mention it, and it's just great kind of boom bap hip hop back from the early 90s.
I love that album, man. I actually had somebody ask me if they could buy it off me. I think when I was doing myself, but it's like, I've been looking for that album forever. Where'd you get it, man? I'm like, well, I got it when it came out, when it got re-released back in the 2000s. And
it's an expensive record, man. It goes for like between like $80 and $100. I've seen it for the CD. So I mean, for the LP, sorry, the LP and the cassette. So it's fucking. And for Pete Rock, I would say probably the most underrated, even though they're more well known. They're more well known now. Sorry, when it came out, was the I Center of Attention, that record. I think that was really underrated for like the longest time when it was shelved. And the Data, Original Baby Pa, those were probably the most underrated records by Pete Rock, in my opinion.
Yeah,
at least the ones that come to mind, like right off the top. So
I always when I think of like kind of overlooked production from Pete Rock, I always think of the stuff that he did with Heavy D. His cousin Heavy D. Because I never really hear people, have that correlation. Pete Rock and Heavy D were actually family members, right?
Yeah.
And that's how Pete Rock kind of came up, was producing for Heavy D and the Boys and shit like that. And I think people kind of forget about that. I mean, Don't Curse, I absolutely love that track. I still love that beat, that song, everything. It's such a cool idea. How they throw in the lyrics and, well, they're about to swear, but they don't. I love that shit, man. But it's good production. Actually, on that Peaceful Journey album, Pete Rock did 5 tracks on there. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
It's pretty much all I could think. I mean, for myself, I don't really think a lot of stuff by Pete Rock is underrated because because he's one of my favorites, so I'm so familiar. I mean, fuck, I got a Pete Rock tattoo on my fucking forearm, for Christ's sake. I love Pete Rock.
Both of those, but neither of them have really stuff that's really underrated because a lot of their stuff is so well known. They're known for their dope production, so they don't have a lot of stuff that's like underrated. I would say some of their maybe remixes are underrated. Like they have a bunch of like unofficial remix records, which are pretty damn good. I would say check out those.
Those would have been that would have been a good question actually. You know, just name off a bunch of like kind of maybe underheard or underappreciated Primo and Pete Rock remixes, because they really do a lot of amazing remixes. Those guys, that's what they're known for. You know, back in the day was a lot of remixes and shit. That would have been cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of all I had for that one.
Yeah. All right, so next question here, also from Derek. I think he was asking for his buddy. Also, my homie wanted to ask a question. What are your top 5 lyricists, 90s to present? We kind of had a debate before the show on what the question actually meant. Like, Tom took it a different way. Me and Jay kind of thought it was rappers that came out in the 90s, so excluding the the late 70s and 80s, until present, or was it just as a whole? I don't really know.
Yeah, I kind of thought it took you more as like people that were big in the 90s, but just came out even like in the late 80s, but still had a decent career in the 90s up until the present. So that's kind of more how I took it, because I always include like the late 80s with the 90s. Whenever we refer to 90s hip hop, we usually include like obviously the classic albums from Erick and Rakim and stuff in there. We don't say, hey, classic 80. Although some people do. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's what I did with the questions. Like, I just saw from 90s to present, so I was like, okay, I'm going to have to eliminate anything that came out in like 88, 89, so it's 90s to now. So
that was my original thinking.
I took it specifically as the question was written, like 90s. So I mean, I can definitely see like 88, 89, whatever. But that's the way I did it.
Yeah, see, when I started jotting down my list, I was like, okay, well, so I guess I can't have pretty much my top 5 is not even in there, right? So like Rakim, Cool G Rap, Scarface, like all these guys came out in the 80s, right?
Well, see, I put Cool G Rap in there because he has albums after 1990, like 1990 and beyond, that I thought would put him in there. So he only had Road to Riches was the only one that came out prior to 1990. So
that is true. I guess
so we all took the question differently, basically.
Yeah. I was just thinking anybody that actually had material that came out in the 80s was discluded because they could be considered as an 80s artist. I don't know. But I guess it doesn't really matter. We could just So what did you guys come up with?
I had Cool G Rap, like I just mentioned, Nas, Aesop Rock, Rock Marciano, and Diabolic.
And Diabolic. Wow.
Yeah, man, he's taken over. Like, I've been listening to his album so much, like, the last few months. It's like, I can't wait for his new one.
Wow. That's kind of cool. I didn't think that you would put Diabolic in there out of ever. Also, Aesop Rock is a good one, too, which I also had on my list. So that's kind of cool. Aesop Rock is definitely one of my favorite rappers ever. This day. I also had probably someone that you wouldn't think, R.A. the Rugged Man, I had on my list as well. So
yeah, he's one that definitely is right there for me as well.
Yeah, it was the first one I actually wrote down. It was R.A. the Rugged Man. Yeah,
he's definitely been around for a long ass time, even fucking the early 90s, and people still don't give him credit, which is insane. I had fucking Nas on my list too. So, and then I also had what the fuck was it, J. Rue the Damager on my list.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ, that's fucked.
Why?
Yeah.
What?
That's because I had J. Rue on mine also.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say fucking. Did you have like someone else on your fucking list? And then I put fucking Big L on mine too, because I was Big L. So yeah.
So apparently I screen shared and you just saw my list, but. So I had Big L, R.A. the Rugged Man, J. Rue. I had Master Ace, Sean P. Aesop Rock. Like, I mean, that's more than 5, but those are some of the like MCs that I still currently listen to pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of how I compiled the list. I just excluded like the obvious ones with, Nas and, like the guys I mentioned off the top there, which I still listen to all the time too. But,
ultimately, even though I took the question, I thought it meant something else, I still did it. Just people that had albums in the 90s moving forward, because obviously that's how the question was written. So plus they made it a little bit more challenging, and it was a little bit more fun just to make a list of, not include the fucking classic guys that I always name whenever I, make a fucking top 5 or top 10 list. Those dudes are always going to be in there, so.
Yeah, it's like I kind of looked at it as well. Like RA could have definitely been on there, Big L could have definitely been on there, but I kind of looked at it as guys that I listened to earlier on. Was like Cool G Rap and Nas were like, when I was younger, those were the two main guys for me. And then Rock Marciano, obviously now Aesop Rock and Diabolic are three guys that I definitely think are really top notch lyricists now.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many guys to mention, man. Like, I'm a really big Vinny Paz fan. I love Vinny Paz. Yeah. I mean, it goes on and on and on, man. Like, I fucking love Evidence. There's a guy that came out in the 90s, that's still doing his shit today and progressively getting better, Yep. So it's so hard to break it down. I mean, we could really make a whole show about this.
Yeah.
But anyways, I hope that answered the questions for y'all.
And now for our feature presentation.
This is Whether or Not.
Yeah. You now rockin' with the West, so start moving towards the exit. When the next motherfucker lacking presence trying to set it.
Oh yeah, getting into the featured reviews here on episode 8, Disposable Art Style. And yeah, man, we're gonna start this off with a brand new album. Well, I guess it's a couple months old now.
Was a brand new album.
It was a brand new album when we, originally had the show planned, but we still went through with it, and we got to talk about this one. So, from 2018, released in January. This is like one of the first releases of the year, actually, which is kind of interesting. Evidence's new album, Whether or Not. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this album was definitely a good start to the year.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, talking about getting your hopes up for the whole year with an album like this to start it off. It just never happens like that.
Yeah.
Like, albums like this usually drop in like October, November kind of thing. Ready for the in the latter quarter of the year. Evidence, man. Whether or Not. Where do we start? I guess we start with first track.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Track 1.
I would start by saying Evidence is becoming not only a great producer, but also a great lyricist. Like, his rhymes on this are, man, he's just stepping up his game like a lot from where he has been in the past, I think.
Evidence has always been a guy that I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
Production-wise, MC-wise, I've always liked his flow, his voice. He's very distinct. He's got his own style and stuff. But you can really tell on this album that it meant a lot to him. It was a very personal album to him. Mm-hmm. So you can tell for 2 reasons. He stepped up his pen game a lot on this. I thought there was a lot of really clever stuff written in here. And also he kind of took a step back from the production, and he only produced like 3 tracks on here. And I think that's a smart thing to do when you're concentrating on, the personal level of it. The pen game. You take a step back and you sift through, the beats, and you pick out the good ones for what you want to use. And I think everything came together very cohesive on this record, because obviously he's got his homie Alchemist on here, does a bunch of tracks. He's worked with DJ Premier. I actually read a comment the other day that said, Evidence is working with DJ Premier. That must be awesome, to work with Primo. And I'm like, he's been working with Primo since like the 90s, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny thing. He always seems to have a Primo track here and there on everything he does. So, but not a lot of producers, You got Twins the Beat Pro on here, Alchemist, Knots. Babu did the title track, Whether or Not.
Yep.
And Budgie did a couple tracks, and Sam I Am. So there's not a lot of producers on here, but it sounds insanely cohesive. It's crazy, man. Crazy. So
and the way the way I thought about this, of course, it's the weather theme. He's the weatherman, whatever. But how some tracks are, it's almost it is different weather situations. They feel like it'll be down, like it could be a like raining track, like throw it all away, stuff like that. And then it picks back up, almost like sun's hitting you when that Knots beat comes on. It's like, I don't know. I just kind of I thought of it that way. It's like I categorized it as maybe this would be good like on a cooler day, you know, and this is a rainy day, this is a sunny day. Just this is the way I took it, is a weather theme, keeping it in a weather theme.
100%. It feels like a weather pattern.
Yeah.
Right. You know, especially where I live, man. I mean, the joke around here is if you don't like the weather right now, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's exactly the same here because we're on the coast as well, right?
Yeah, so. Like, I mean, 1 minute could be 20 degrees and, you know, 10 minutes later, it seems like it's -5 and snowing. It's bizarre. Really bizarre. And I kind of feel like that's how this album definitely does that. It does. It has, like, a lot of mood tracks.
Yeah.
It has this wave effect. It has this total wave roller coaster kind of effect to it, but
it did flow well. It all flowed well, though. It's not,
you know, well.
It really does. And I think when I noticed in this album is when you get to the track Moving Too Fast. It's the 6th track on here, and it's kind of like an interlude that Evidence produces. This very kind of slow and melodic type. It feels like it's the transition into Runners with Dupri. And it kind of sets the tone for like almost like the second half of the album a little bit. It's like this kind of wave ripple effect, and man, like I haven't felt like this in a long time. After, you know, usually when you listen to an album, you're like, man, the album's really good.
Yeah.
But the first time I listened to the album, I was like, that is excellent.
Yeah.
Like excellent. And then the more I listened to it, I was like, holy shit, this is really because like, you know, sometimes you listen to an album, you get so hyped, you're like, fuck, that's amazing. And then you listen to it a few more times and it kind of goes down the shitter, kind of like that De La Soul record for myself. I mean, I wasn't thinking it was excellent to start out, but you guys get the point.
Yeah.
But this album, I don't know, man. I listened to it again last night and I was like, this is some next level shit, man. Evidence really hit this on the fucking head. You know, he hammered this home, man. He really hammered this home. Very first track on the album called The Factory. And, you know, I absolutely love the way this track starts. It's got that Evidence, you are now rocking with the West. And the rest happens naturally.
That classic flow that Evidence has. You know, let me just say before we start, if you don't like that Evidence, slow flow, you're not going to like this. You know, if you don't like his, you know, rhyme pattern, he doesn't change it up at all, obviously. So that's what works for him. That's what he does. So if you don't like those kind of slow, kind of, you know, rolling beats that he flows over, then you're not going to like this. If you like that, you're going to love this because this is phenomenal.
I think this is one of the greatest opening lines to an album too, man. Is like, because, you know, he's used that you're now rocking with the West lots. I mean, this is it's happened throughout the career, but he's like, you're now rocking with the West, and the rest happens naturally. I'm my best when I'm back into the factory.
Yeah,
and it's just like it sets the table for everything, man. It's like the factory's, you know, the studio, the factory's his life, it's his roller coaster, it's everything. You know,
my favorite lyric on this is when he said, "I give a fuck if the critics agree. I'm rhyme sayer number 3 under Slug and Ali. I'm dilated number 3 under Rocka and Babu. Never outshine the masters. The rule before 2." That man, I was like, oh god damn, that is.
Well, this is how humble Evidence is.
It's like him, yeah, exactly. It's like him being the most humble guy on earth, basically. It's like saying his label mates are above him and the guys in his own group are above him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really shows the type of I mean, that, you know, 4 lines right there basically says everything you need to know about Evidence. He's a very humble dude. You know, he never talks about, you know, like he never boasts about, you know, how his mom was on a soap opera and shit, like his life, you know, his lifestyle and shit like that. Like, he never kind of brings it up. He kind of takes it with, you know, grain of salt and shit. But it's really cool because, you know, the interview on Take It Personal podcast, he was talking about moving over to Rhyme Sayers, and he's just like, they're the best. You know, he had nothing but good things to say. He was very humble about his, you know, his ability to be part of that. And he was talking so highly of Slug and Ali, and he's like, you know, they're the stars, I'm the opener.
Yeah.
Like, he's not, you know, obviously he knows the album is good and that he's in the right direction and stuff, but man, to give that much props and, you know, even put Rocka ahead of you and stuff it says a lot about his personality, and it really shows throughout the whole record. He's very humble, but he kind of calls him the humble one. You know, he's the humble one.
You know, it's really great when a first track really sets the mood for a record. I think this first track really sets a fantastic mood for this whole record, beat-wise and just rapping-wise. It's just, you know what you're going to get, you know, from the first track forward. At least for me, that's what I got out of it. And again, it was great. It was a great way to start off the record, so I loved it.
And one thing I really liked at this as well, it's like a recurring theme throughout the album, is this lady calling him to pick up his speakers. Dude, it's like, pick up the damn speakers. It's been 3 months, Evidence. Come on, dude. You got to get your speakers, man.
I think in the first track here, she even says, she's like, you know, we're going to throw them out.
Yeah, she's like asking us, like, if you want to trash them or whatever, you know, that's cool. But
so I thought that was really interesting, actually, because they asked him about that during the interview on Take It Personal.
Oh, okay.
And they said, so what's with the voicemail, you know, that's, you know, reoccurring through the whole album and stuff? And he's just like, man, he's like, I'm a busy person, you know, I couldn't get down there to, you know, deal with these speakers and shit. And he's like, this fucking bitch just kept calling and calling and calling. He said, Evidence said that she had left something like 25 messages, right? And he said it got to the point where it was so funny to him that he had to use it somehow. So he just put a couple of them throughout the album. And then the funny thing was they're like, well, they're like, do you think that she knows that you're on, that you know, she's on the record? And he's like, no. We just used it whatever way.
I was hoping, like, at the end of the album, like, she would close it by saying, all right, your speakers have been here for like a year, we're throwing them out now. But obviously, like, the conclusion of the album's like, you couldn't throw that on because it took a very serious turn, obviously. But
yeah, it does. It's you know, he talks about that too, and briefly in the interview, because he's like, I hope you guys aren't going to be like every other interviewer and ask me about that track. He's like, I'm not performing that track, I don't want to talk about it, kind of thing. And so I mean, it makes perfect sense, but you're right, it wouldn't have fit at the end of that at all, right? Because it ends kind of on this super downer note, but on a happy note though too, right? It's a downer,
it's just really emotional. Like I was wondering if, I don't think he would ever perform that track. I don't think it would be something that he would want to put in there.
He literally said in the interview, he's like, I will never perform that track.
Yeah.
That's one of those. There's a lot of, you know, like rock groups out there and artists and shit like that always have those, you know, those insanely personal tracks that they just will not perform. And
that makes perfect sense. He wrote that song for him and for his family, so that's just for them, you know, that's not for anyone else. So let him have that. There's no reason for him to perform that track even live for just random people, you know. Unless he wants to, then there's just no point. But
I guess we'll get back to that one later on, I guess. But,
So the Factory, man, you know, at hard and boom bap, that just, I find that such a great tone setter for the album. What a great track to start off the album, man. Produced by Twins the Beat Pro. Second track on the album, it's called Throw It All Away. Produced by his brother, his homie, not his biological brother, but The Alchemist.
The stolen beat.
Yeah. But yeah, Throw It All Away, man. I mean, again, you know, it's just such a personal thing to him, right?
Yeah.
He's got... What's that?
No, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, this song kind of reminded me of like from a Weatherman track, actually, a lot. It had that fucking little, I don't even know what to call it. It wasn't like a sample. It was just like the fucking piece from the Weatherman track. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
It had a very similar vibe.
The only thing I thought about this is, like, obviously the Paulo Brown beat with the same sample, but I like this one better.
There was a piece on here that he used on the Weatherman Moods. You don't know what I'm talking about? There's a piece that he...
Yeah.
It was very similar to it. I don't remember what track it is.
It's probably just some like Alchemist has little whatever, like you can identify Alchemist beats by different little sounds and shit. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I didn't pick anything up on it.
It's classic. It's like a classic sound that he uses for like fucking his. If you go back to the Weatherman record and you listen to it, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's like a.
I think I do know what I think I know what you're talking about. I can't put the two and two together right now.
Exactly. But anyway, it really reminded me of that record. So it was just great, classic, and it had a nice sample too by actually Stringtronics, which is like a Polish jazz funk group. So that's where that fucking sample comes from. If anyone was curious, track called Dawn Mists, I think. Fantastic track.
But yeah, this is
one of the cool lines I thought he had on this is when he said, "Don't take fans for granted, like money is due." So he's like, he's getting like he's humble. He's like, "Don't take your fans for granted." It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, this shows a lot, man. I mean, I think he talks about it again in the interview about, his he can have money issues sometimes. He just likes to spend fucking money. This is kind of what it is, right? Like the chorus says it all. It's very personal to him. It's like, I got some money. I'm gonna blow it all today. They say, Michael, don't throw it all away. He's kind of saying, he's living in the moment, right?
Yeah.
If he has money in his pockets,
he knows he's working though. He knows he's working on new shit, so he's gonna be getting more money, right?
But that's the thing. Don't take it for granted because if you're gonna spend everything you have right now, you're technically kind of throwing it all away because it might end one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and if it ends one day, then you got no flow, and then But I still one of the the opening to verse 2, man. I write to the alchemist because others don't inspire me. I got my people, and they got my back entirely. Man, it's fucking amazing, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's really, really good track.
Yeah, I kill with iron sirens on the side of me. By myself, I lay them out and iron out the irony.
Yeah. Yeah, some really good lines on every song, man. It's like really cool writing.
Oh, really good stuff, man. It just this is the reason why I love when albums come with the lyric books.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one definitely. Like the first few listens, I didn't look at the lyrics at all, and I'm loving it at that point. But when you sit down and read the lyrics along with it, it just hits you so much more.
Oh, for sure. But of course, I'm reading this off because the lyrics actually aren't in this release, are they?
I don't have the physical release yet. I just read them off of.
No, I'm just trying to remember.
Rap Genius.
No, they're totally. Yeah, I'm reading them off there too. No, but yeah, this is the reason why I love when albums come with the lyrics, because for shit like this, you can just sit there and hold it and listen to it, and it's not like Brother Ali Records, man. He's got all the lyrics in there and shit, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, Rhymesayers, like we said before, their packaging of albums is top notch, so they usually include all the lyrics and everything.
Yeah, they don't fuck around, man. They
No.
really don't.
No.
Yeah, dude, oh, man, what a killer beat, though. I love this beat. Alchemist knocked this shit out the fucking park.
Yeah.
I think it's just fantastic. I mean, the song basically says it all. I mean, just listen to the lyrics, man.
Yep.
Into track 3, man. Powder Cocaine. This is, oh man, another Alchemist beat. Just, it's awesome.
not a typical Alchemist beat by any means, but yeah,
it really isn't. It's kind of slow and melodic a little bit.
Yeah. It almost sounds like a 70s song or some shit. Like I heard Evidence say to this dude Katero, I believe his name is. I'm not familiar with him, but he told him, like, just lay down something that's like the whitest thing you ever could sing, right? This is what he came out with. So
is that okay?
Okay.
Because at first I thought it must have been some sample from like some 70s song or something, but
it sounds like it would be, right?
Yeah,
it's incorporated into the mix like it is a sample.
Yeah, but it actually is him like singing. Like he literally said to him, "Just make something the whitest sounding thing you can come up with," and that's what he came out with.
Yeah,
which is pretty funny. And the lyrics to it are ironic as well, where he said the whitest thing, it's like powder cocaine. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'd be fine like powder cocaine, and it's a hell of a drug, and that's a hell of a saying. Yep. I love that shit, man.
And this video, did you guys see the video for this?
Yeah.
I watched. Fuck, doesn't he have like 5 videos for this album?
Yeah, man, he has a lot of them. But this one, I'm obsessed with this video. Like the first time I saw it, I just kept repeating it, and I just kept it going over and over and over. I probably watched it at least 10 times in a row. But it's just, I don't know what it is, but it's just like puts me in a trance just watching this goddamn video.
Yeah,
it must be all the bouncing balls. It just gets my attention.
Slug has such a great line in this album too, man. But the gravity helps. Yeah, reality real. When I finally fell, I told my family, well, when a battery dies, it goes to battery hell.
Yeah. But after that point,
it's a great line.
The second half of his verse, man, is just like, oh, Jesus. I thought that was like crazy verse by Slug. Like the second portion of it after the battery hell part.
Yeah,
like, oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, really.
And then also, Evidence has some good lines too. He's like, I want to better myself. They want to dwell in the pain. I want to better my health. No umbrella for rain. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, sticking with that Weatherman theme, right?
Yep.
Amazing. I love how you can, he made a track named after drugs, obviously, but it doesn't exclusively have to be about drugs, right? Like, the message isn't exclusively about drugs, so which is awesome, that, I don't know.
The song actually isn't even about drugs at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. It's not about drugs at all, but he named it as, you would think that it would be, about powder cocaine. It would be some kind of, selling drugs or something, but that's not evident at all. He takes a completely different route.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, and the other line there as well is where he said, drove to a mansion and wrote the shit in front of it because everybody covets the comfort of becoming it. And then he says rich. So everybody wants to be rich, right? And he said in an interview I saw as well, is like, I think it was his manager or somebody like that is rich and has a mansion. He actually did call him and say, like, I want to come over to your place and write this shit. So he actually did do that.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, the end of the first verse, man, caught a hell of a bug, fuck irrelevant things. I'd be moving at the speed of my life, ignorant to the price. I'd be fine like cocaine, like powder cocaine. And I mean, and it's metaphor right there speaks for itself. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, this
life, man.
That's the way, like we're going through all these lyrics because the writing on this is so damn good.
It really
so
is.
good, yeah.
Like usually we don't break down like a lot of lyrics when we're doing these, but obviously we all are like, God damn, this is pretty good stuff here. So we got to take these down and recite them on here.
It has such a hypnotic feel to it, man.
His writing is just so high on this record, such a fucking high caliber. He just he's always a great writer, but he just like jumped up to 1,000 on this one. When he was at like 100 before, maybe on his last record, each record got a little bit better, but this one just like flew up there. It was just, I don't know what happened. We got inspired or something, but this record was just fucking insane. So
yeah. And then moving into the next one is like the beat by Knots I was talking about, where it almost seems like the sun comes out. It's like the beat just hits you right off the bat with Jim Dean.
Yeah, he talked about this in an interview too. This Jim Dean beat. Knots had actually posted this on Instagram years ago. This beat's actually quite a bit older, and I think Evidence said that that's actually the first time he'd heard the beat was through Instagram. Right. So it's actually been around for a few years, and I think he obviously worked out a deal and said, "Yo, man, I like that beat. I might want to use that someday." Yeah. So that's kind of cool. But like that beat's been sitting around that long. Jim Dean, it's like one of the hottest beats, dude. So amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they have a video for this song as well.
Yes, they do.
So this would be the third video in 4 songs. So
I know, right?
Yeah.
Jim Beam, man. Oh, it's almost like a contender for, track of the year too. Just fucking dope.
Yeah, his writing on this is crazy as well. Like, it's just Jesus.
Scratch chorus. I mean, he's doing no wrong here, man. Got the weather outro.
Yep.
Fucking awesome, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about this one, Tom?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. I love the beat on here personally. That was one of my favorite beats on this record. And like you said, it does feel like the sun's coming out after, and like, I don't know, it's just fucking a great just vibing track too. If you just want to fucking just chill and vibe to it.
Yeah.
Evidence has that fucking voice, his flow. He's definitely saying shit, but I just fucking space out because his voice is just so cool. Listening to his voice, I just like sometimes I forget to listen to what he's saying and just to like listen to his voice instead. I'm like,
I totally get that as well. Like that definitely happens to me sometimes when I'm listening to his songs.
Coming back to the hypnotic feel of Evidence, he has that flow that just kind of, it sucks you in almost too much.
Yeah,
where you kind of lose track of what you were actually there to do was listen to him.
Yeah, exactly.
But at that point now you're just hearing him.
Just listen to him, but listen to what he's saying, because I fucking, I don't know. But like you said, if you guys fucking love this track, I love the next track. Whether or not, this is probably my favorite track on this record. This is my problem track of the year, just because of the beat and the title and the chorus, which comes from the fucking Dilated People's fucking classic Guaranteed track, and just the way it flows over this beat is so fucking beautiful. Like, so many classic lines in here too. Like, love your fans and like your label. I ain't making shit for neither. Lay that on the table.
Yeah, that's cool.
The construction of his words too, man, are like how it just kind of comes together so well too, man. It's like rappers got this thing about power, bitter and sour, gossip at the top of every hour, walking in the rain off the Jim Beam, broken boulevard, dreams broken on the boulevard, Jim Dean. That's awesome.
Yeah,
like that's like just the wordplay is awesome. I can't fucking read.
Yeah,
but
then he ends off. What do you say? Get a grip for bears like a Jim Beam, like a fucking beam
like
in the gym. It's like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Then he's like eyes redder than the Rastas on the swim team. It's like, oh, it's funny.
Yeah, it's good shit, man. What an awesome, like, I bumped this track so many goddamn times, man. It's so good. So good.
Yep. But yeah, getting on to Whether or Not as well, like Tom was saying, Babu, I love the start of this, the way it starts out there with all the different people saying different whether or not. It's like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Babu, like, good on production, also cuts it up on the scratches.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yep.
It's nice to hear Babu and Evidence. I don't know how close they are in real life. I'm assuming they're all really, really fucking close.
Yeah, I assume they are.
It's nice to hear them actually working together, because I haven't heard like a Babu, like a project from him in like a long time. I know he's put out like some beat tapes and some beats here and there, but
yeah,
nice to see him working with fucking Evidence again. So, and then obviously Rocco further down the line too, but.
Yeah, he does talk about the relationship. He was asked about it with his relationship with Babu and Rocket Science, and he says he actually doesn't talk to him a whole lot,
Oh, really?
Okay.
But when it's time to do a Dilated Peoples record, they get together and it's like they haven't left each other.
Yeah.
And then just do a record. That's how close they are. He says they're close, but they're far apart.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which
that makes
is kind of
sense.
interesting. It's not like he sees them every single day and, he's going out for coffee and whatever fucking people do, right? You know?
He probably seems more close that way every day, like with Alchemist or something, but rather than those guys. But I could see that.
Yeah.
I think everybody has relationships like that, right? It's like you don't see somebody for like a year and then you're hanging out and it's just like, just like you saw him yesterday or whatever. So
Evidence seems like he's kind of an introvert a little bit. Like he doesn't really do a whole lot except for craft his material.
Yeah, I think based on some of the lyrics, he just likes to be by himself a lot.
Yeah, I think he's just gone through trials and tribulations so much in his life that he's at a point now where he's a little bit older and he doesn't need those activities to stimulate. Yeah. His stimulation is his craft, beat making and rhyming and, looking after his family, essentially, which shows in the album, right? So, the theme, the reoccurring theme is don't take shit for granted. Because, if you take money for granted, it's going to go. If you're going to take life for granted, it might be gone the next day, kind of thing. So, very interesting. But yeah, I love this track, Whether or Not. I love the hook, man. I absolutely love it. Some think I'm clever. Others think I'm the one who makes too many references to whether or not. It's fucking awesome, man. It sucked me right in the first time I heard it. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, like Tom said earlier, it's like off of Guaranteed, right, that line. And he was saying, like, anytime he performed that song, whenever he says or not, the whole crowd would be like, or not. So he's like, I'm onto something here, so I'm going to use this, right? So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good shit, man. Good shit. Yeah, Whether or Not, Babu. The only beat on there, produced by Babu.
Yeah.
Then we move
good one though.
Yeah, it is really good, man. That's the thing, man. Babu doesn't seem to do a whole lot, but when he does, it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. Yep. Then we get into, like we talked about, this short little interlude track, Moving Too Fast, which I feel like is the prelude to Runners. I don't know, man. There's something about the point in this album when this kind of hits. It has this, like, it feels like a transition, and it's like a wave. It kind of went to this point, and it's kind of smoothing itself out, getting into Runners.
And the lady with the pick up the damn speakers is on there again.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like at the end of it, the sooner the better.
It's so good, man. Excuse me. But yeah, so it leads into Runners, which is also produced by Evidence. This is such a weird track, man. Like,
oh, dude, I thought at first, but Defer, oh my god, he just killed this thing. He was amazing on this, I thought.
It almost sounds like he changed his voice. Like they pitched it a little bit, but they didn't. And he's talking, but if you actually listen to what Dupri is saying, it's perfect. It's like so perfect.
It is.
It's so tantalizing. Like I when I first listened to it, I was like, I want to listen to that again. That's a really strange track.
Yeah.
But again, it's very moody, hypnotic.
It became one of my favorite tracks. Like at first I was like, that's interesting. And then after a few listens, I was like, God damn, Dupri is just killing this. And then Evidence was as well. It's like the beat is kind of ominous. Like, oh shit, I loved it.
Yeah, it's very slow. And again, it's almost hypnotic, right? You're kind of waiting for something to kick in here, and it doesn't really. But the flows, nobody flows like that. Like, I don't know where they came up with this idea. Like, Dupri, it just sounds... I don't even know how to explain.
That one line Dupri had, he's like, is it a Lacoste or a polo night? Man, that's cool. You're a boss. I'm a prototype.
Yeah, man. You know what I think it is, too? I think it's the pronunciation on some of the words.
Yeah, the way he says it.
It's almost like overpronounced. You know, it's like perfectly pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a prototype.
He's like, man, that's cool. You're a boss. I'm a prototype.
Dupri is just a fucking odd dude in general from what I hear. So I mean, this is like him, just like in real life anyway. So this is like perfect for him, just going over that slow, kind of like ominous, weird beat. It's so great, it's so refreshing to hear from Dupri too, because it seemed like he just disappeared fucking forever, and then he just came. He's got a new record this year too, actually. So I mean, everyone's
I want to check that out.
It came out digitally last year. And the pressing comes out. Yeah, I think it's just out right now. But it's it's all produced by Evidence, right?
Yeah. I heard that. So
the other line he had that I liked, he said, "There's so much evidence that we set a precedence for California residents."
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's so good. This is one of my favorites too, Jason, for sure. It's just so good.
Yep.
Fucking Dupri.
Oh, it's good stuff.
That is good shit, man. And then next track here, Bad Publicity, or
Bad
Publicity is next here. Again, produced by Knots.
Yeah, another
Krondon.
banger by Knots.
Yeah, featuring Krondon. Man.
Krondon.
I don't really care for Krondon's voice personally. I was never the biggest fan of his, just because of his voice. Like it's like it's weird.
I think he sounds sort of like a hybrid between Bun B and MC8. I thought MC8, if you mix him in there with that accent, kind of, take Bun B.
I swear that they pitched Krondon's voice to sound like Busta Rhymes on here. When I first popped this out, I thought it was Busta Rhymes at first.
Really?
I was like, what the fuck is that Busta? Like, what? What the hell happened here?
It's funny. I didn't really get that, but that's funny. I got to go back and listen to it, see if I hear some Busta Rhymes on here.
Yeah. See, now that I put it in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, it does kind of sound like Busta Rhymes. I don't know, man. I remember checking the credits going, what? Krondon. What the fuck?
When I first heard it, I was like, Krondon, he sounds like Bun B and MC8 had a kid or something. It's like,
that's crazy. We interpreted the voice so differently.
Like, yeah, it is. But he just did the hook on here anyway, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that was just like the weak point of the song for me. But it was a dope beat once again. It was a great track. Well, I just didn't. That was the part I didn't care for. Yeah. Well, like I said, he was never really one of my favorites. So
yeah.
Actually, I didn't really mind it. It just kind of confused me at first.
Yeah,
I can see that. If you thought that it was fucking Busta,
you're like Busta?
Yeah, dude. Busta. And even listening again last night, I was like, man, like I'm still convinced that they busted and they credited Krondon on there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't know, man. I love the scratch in the end of that track too, man. Super sick. It's one thing throughout this record, man. It puts in samples very well, and it doesn't overdo with those, and interludes and shit, and scratch it. Like everything, the mold here is really good, really good stuff. Which leads into Raindrops.
Yeah, this is very different track.
Yeah, produced by Twins of Beat Pro, who did the first track, The Factory. I find this track to be it's like a dark. Feels super dark to me.
Very dark, very much like a rainy day, which is perfect for this record.
Yeah,
it's like Evidence went Rock Marciano on us here.
Yeah.
This is definitely when the weather changes on the record, right?
Yeah.
It kind of went from this kind of this gloomy to like full blown. Yeah, we got some rain clouds up there, and it's pissing rain.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, this was really cool though. I thought Evidence sounded good on this style of beat. Like you don't need drums with his low, voice with the slow flow going on. So, and I did hear him mention Rock Marciano as an artist that inspires him as well. So I think he probably took a page from his book and said, "I'm going to give this a shot. Leave your drums out."
For sure, 100%.
Yeah,
it has the fucking little like keys that like it sounds like drops of water on the track, which is like perfect addition to that.
He does mention that actually in the interview.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He talks about this track and leaving out the drums. Try that out a little bit. And it's kind of funny too because the hosts of the show, they're not really a big fan of the no drums.
Yeah.
So they kind of hard. They're like, it's just funny
on this one a bit.
I wasn't their favorite track off the record, kind of thing. But
yeah,
I guess it happens. I mean, I think a lot of people aren't open to the fact of hip hop not having drums in it because they kind of associate the art with drums.
Yeah, I get that definitely, but I mean, a song like this doesn't need drums. Like it's a song it stands on its own, right? It doesn't. Not everything has to have drums banging on it. So
yeah, I think it's a good point in the record to have this too.
Yeah,
it's kind of like this real dark point. Yeah, I like that.
And the thing is with this album, it's kind of a long album, but you're on a bit of a journey here. But it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, I never feel like it drags or anything though. I find that it just it's one track to the next. Yep. Then we got track 10 here, Sell Me This Pen.
Yeah.
Produced by The Alchemist.
Yeah, this is an Alchemist beat as soon as it starts with that little horn like sound like
it's so Alchemist, man. Alchemist actually is featured on the track also with Mock Homie.
Yep, Mock Homie.
So yeah, man. I dig the track, man. And that brings me to what I wanted to mention. Me, like sometimes an abundance of features can sometimes take away from the star of the record. But in this case, I feel like they fit in really well. I think they're placed perfectly in the album. Like I feel like I'm getting a lot of evidence in between features, which is always a good thing. I find sometimes when people put out records and they have a lot of features, I'd mentioned this when I talked about MC8's album last year. I felt like it seemed like you were listening to the features more than MC8 himself. And I feel like on this record, it's evidence with a couple features, which is a good thing. And also the features are never really taken away from, Evidence himself. I feel like they're with him. Exactly. I feel like they're with him, which is always a good thing, man. And that's a big problem with a lot of records that come out today. Too many features, and I think a lot of people also look for who's on the album. But for me, when I look at an Evidence record, I'm looking to see, who's producing the tracks, not who's also featured on it.
Yeah, it does seem nowadays it's like the features are almost more of a selling point than the actual artist putting out the album.
Yeah,
and which is kind of strange to me because I don't want that many features on an album. I just want to hear what this artist is saying.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, there's definitely probably albums out there where you definitely have listened to and went, well, that album probably would have been better if I'd have heard, more of the main feature.
Yeah, like for Kool G Rap, definitely with his last album.
That was exactly one of my major points. That's a great example. Every song had like 2 features. And you're like, there was literally more featured verses on that album than Kool G Rap.
Yeah,
that doesn't work for me. But in this case, man, it's good. I mean, this song.
Good to hear Alchemist on here. Alchemist always cracks me up. Like going back to like Step Brothers, man, he has the funniest lines. Like, and he's not the greatest rapper. Like, he's not obviously going to be my favorite rapper or anything. Like, just the way he delivers stuff is a little bit strange, and his flow's a little bit weird. But one of the lines he had there, he's like, "I don't get open dancing on stage. I bring it to a close. Make a sandwich out of my knuckles and bring it to your nose." Like,
I know. I know that line. That's one of my favorite lines in it too, man. It's good shit.
Just the way he says stuff just cracks me up. I'll be just laughing my ass off like every time I hear Alchemist rhyme now.
This feels like a Step Brothers track, though.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
100%. It just feels like something that was pulled right off, an album. It's good shit, though. I didn't mind. Like, what was your guys' thoughts on Mock Homie?
I like him.
I couldn't personally. I thought he was just okay. I didn't dislike him, but I didn't love him either. He was just okay to me. He was just there. I don't think his verse really he wasn't really saying much. He was just like whatever. So I mean, he wasn't really funny like Alchemist, but he wasn't. I don't know. That's just me though. Like Alchemist and fucking Evidence work well, like you said.
Yeah,
like, I was going to say the same thing. Fucking Step Brothers, they work so well together. I think that if it was just them two on this track, it would have been so much better for me personally. I think I would have loved this track, but now it's just like okay, they added his third verse from this dude. So which was just, like I said, was just okay. Maybe
he was definitely just kind of spitting lines and shit. Like there was actually one point in his verse that actually made me laugh. It's like, I put professors on sabbatical too. I put some ketchup on a wrapper like peppercorn ranch, and it's That shit literally made me laugh out loud. I was like, what did he just say?
Yeah.
It's more funny for me just to be stupid, not just funny because funny like Alchemist, like what the fuck, man.
And it's funny because his verse is like, it's twice as long, or it's pretty much Evidence and Alchemist verses put together. It's like how long his verse is.
Yeah, it is pretty long.
What are you talking about, dude?
Did you ever hear any of his features he did with West Side Gun?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay. Yeah, because he was with, I don't know what happened, but I think there was some sort of beef with him now, but he was with Griselda Records with Conway and West Side Gun, and I guess he's not anymore. I don't know exactly what went down, but that's where I first heard of him, was on features with those guys a little while back. Yeah, that's where I first heard of him too. Same thing. He was supposed to have like a record coming out. I think he had like a mixtape come out on there or something. Yeah. I don't know about like like you said, I don't know about the beef or anything. So yeah, but yeah, I agree with you guys. I would have rather just had it just like a Step Brothers track rather than throwing him in there as well. It seemed kind of weird to me to have him on the track.
Yeah, I actually would have preferred to have the Alchemist verse, Evidence, and then them go back and forth on the third track.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next track, Love Is a Funny Thing, featuring Styles P, Rhapsody, and Crisis. Yeah, man. Again, produced by Alchemist.
Yeah, Crisis on the hook.
Crisis.
Really cool kind of piano samples on here too. I like the piano sample.
Yeah, that piano loop was really cool. It's like Alchemist shit. You can tell it's Alchemist.
Oh yeah, once again. Again, great verses from everyone in my opinion. I didn't really have any problem with, even though I'm not really always the biggest Rhapsody fan, but he was good.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that.
I like this track. It's probably my least favorite track on the album, though. If I had to pick my least favorite track, it would definitely be this one. Even though I thought that Styles P was pretty cool, and I've actually become a fan of Rhapsody, to be honest. I picked up her album from last year. It's a really good Ninth Wonder production on there. I thought it was a pretty good album, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was late to the game.
I heard
on that
good
one.
things about it.
I was late to the game. Like I picked it up, just a couple months ago, and because I kept hearing pretty good things, and I thought I'd check it out. But she's pretty good. She's got some pretty good lyrics and shit, so I was impressed. But if I had to pick a track, this would probably be my least favorite on the record. I don't know. It feels like, kind of a posse track. I guess it has a little bit of a theme. Obviously it does, but definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of my top tracks on the album, but it's not my least favorite. There is one other one that is to come that's my least favorite.
Yeah, so I thought this was actually great timing to have this track. Love Is a Funny Thing, because then it gets into the heat of 10,000 Hours, produced by DJ Premier.
Yeah.
And this track route, man, and this is what I'm talking about. Prime production to this production.
Yeah.
This beat is
worlds apart.
It's so fucking memorable, dude. He's cutting up Ain't Nothing But a G Thing. And in the hook, and it's cut up so great. It's got a fucking,
it's so cool. He's like, evidence is at the door. It's like, oh,
dude. I mean, the way Primo worked that, the beat is fucking sick, and it's got a sample incorporated into the beat from the Dawn of the Dead soundtrack.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, and cool. I picked up on that right away. I was like, because that's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck me. He cut up Dawn of the Dead with Ain't Nothing But a G Thing. Primo. Evidence. I'm like, this is like the best song ever, man. This is fucking crazy. I love it, man. Evidence rips this beat, dude. He just sounds so hungry and motivated. You know, like when you get that beat and you're like, fuck, I'm going to do my best on this. It's it's such a hype song. I love it, man. It's so good.
This is exactly the classic Primo production I was talking about that was missing from fucking Prime, like you said. Like this is this is what I expect from Premiere right here. This is what I fucking expect. And
Yeah, if there was an album of beats like this, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like straight up classic material. Right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like you would remember this shit, man. Like, I mean, you put some of the production that Primo's had done for other people over the last 5-6 years. I mean, you take the Oracle, which you mentioned earlier, this track, like if you compile, you can make a one fucking amazing mix.
Oh, yeah.
Of heat that he has brought to the table, man.
Yeah.
It just,
definitely.
It makes Prime, you know, take 2 steps back even more.
Yeah. I really like the concept of this track as well. It's like the 10,000 hours theory is like you have to put in that amount of time to master something, right?
Yes,
it's like Evidence has done that at this point. He knows he's done it. He's put in the work, so he's here now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's basically it's a really clever way of boasting in a sense, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I put in the hours, and I'm telling you this, and you know this from my output, my Dilated People's output, my solo stuff, my beat tapes, everything. And this is
all the time just sitting by yourself making beats and rhymes, right? It's like he's put in the work over the years.
And it's not ironic either, and it's not a coincidence that, you know, that he is doing this over a Primo beat, another person that's totally mastered his craft. Yeah, it's like the masters on this track. Yeah. Yeah,
a track about fucking longevity. Who else, you know, is best to fucking who else best to fucking do it than fucking Primo? So perfect track in my opinion right here. This is definitely one of my favorites for sure.
I think, I mean, you know, Spitters cop the G-rap. The rest are on some Drake shit.
Yeah. He's like, everyone's an imitation. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah. That line
right there. Then he says, like, I took the time to find my own shit, 10,000 hours. So
10,000.
Yeah,
rather than just copying off someone else, right? He's got his own style. He's put in the work.
He's also referring to the fact that, you know, as we mentioned off the top of this this review, how Evidence has stepped up his pen game immensely, and and it's a diss to Drake because he needs ghostwriters.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So that's you know, it's in there too. So kind of a subliminal, but I mean, and big ups for him for actually saying Drake's name too.
Right.
I love when people drop names like that and just like he's being straight up, man. He's not being a fucking subliminal disser. I hate that shit, man. You're gonna diss somebody, drop their fucking name.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really take it as a diss to Drake. I thought it was more him saying, like, you know, guys that are into spitting are copping off of G-rap, so they're copying G-rap, and everyone else that's, like, you know, into this pop shit is copping off of Drake. So I didn't really take it as a Drake diss per se. I thought he was just saying, like, people that are imitating these guys, like one or the other, basically.
Interesting. I kind of took it more as a diss the way I heard it. Kind of just Drake being the latest trend that everybody else kind of.
Yeah, I completely interpreted it as, like, you know, Drake not writing his shit, and he's, you know, he stepped up his pen game so much here.
I know. The only reason I didn't is because the line before that, he's like, everyone's an imitation. Spitters cop to the G-rap, the rest are on some Drake shit. So I just thought he was like saying the imitators are either copying G-rap or they're copying Drake because he's the popular guy right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, you can see it like that. But the second half, the rest are on some Drake shit. I mean, and I kind of took it as like, you know, they're on that fake shit. Right?
Yeah, I kind of
because even hyphens, he's even like right. and then
we're gonna have to contact Evidence to solve
and then he
this.
Goes right into it. He's like, I took my time to find my own shit, 10,000 hours, no borrowed type or loan shit because I'm on my own. Yeah. So
I'm gonna write him on Twitter and say, yo, was this a diss to Drake, or are you just talking about the people that copy Drake?
Either or. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's still an amazing track with a great premise, and you know, he couldn't have done it better with, you know, Evidence and Primo.
At the end of the day, he needs to pick up his fucking speakers because
exactly.
Once again, and he's still not picking up his fucking Mackies.
Still sitting there, still there.
It's so funny. I think it's like the third time on the record now. This sample, pretty good shit, man.
Yeah.
So next track, what I need, produced by Evidence himself.
Yep.
I mean,
this was my least favorite track.
Really?
The only note I had about this was great beat by Evidence. That's literally all I wrote. I don't remember anything else about this track.
I just thought the beat was kind of boring. Like, I didn't really feel like that little high-pitched sound. I don't even know what instrument it was, really, or if it was an instrument. That's just kind of bothered me. Like, I thought his rapping was fine on it, and I thought the beat kind of overpowered his vocals on it.
So are you thinking maybe it was like a mix thing on it, or like the beat was just...
It seemed to... No, I didn't really like the beat that much. I found it a little bit boring, and I don't know, I just didn't feel like the song really fit on the album as a whole. I thought he could have definitely left this one off. This was the only song that I thought that at all, but I mean, it's not a horrible song. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I just felt it could have been left off, and I did find the beat was a bit overpowering to his vocals.
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it. I actually kind of liked the track. I like how he's been in the game. Like, he's just talking about himself and how he's showing his hunger still. At this point in the record, in this roller coaster, he's not, he hasn't come to grips with being comfortable. He's still acting like he's hungry and shit. I didn't really have a problem with the beat. I actually kind of liked it, to be honest. Yeah,
I liked his vocals, but the beat just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. Yeah, I think it was too bad, but interesting.
I could have went one way or the other. I didn't. I liked the beat, but I thought the track, whole track itself was just okay. I could have been left off or left on or taken off, whatever.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I actually like that sound that Jason didn't like, whatever that was. I still want to figure out what that is.
Yeah,
like high pitched noise. But yeah, it was just a okay track, I guess, too, for me. So. The next track, though, to make the long story longer, was fantastic.
Yeah, with John Wayne, man, who I just recently got acquainted with fully.
Yeah.
And I really like this dude, man. John Wayne's fucking dope.
It's dope.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally checked him out, because I didn't know if you would like him or not previously, but I'm glad you do.
I seen the album. I thought he was like a lost member of the Grateful Dead or some shit, man. Like, I didn't know what to expect by looking at him, and it's funny. Because he talks about it in his albums, he's like, "Nah, man, I don't look like a rapper, man." Like,
well, I mean, if you went up to 100 people on the street and showed them a picture of this guy and asked them what type of music he's associated with, I'm sure 0 of them would say hip hop. So.
Well, and that's what I like about John Wayne, is because he's being his own person. He's just he doesn't need to look the part to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's good, man. He's pretty cool.
Yep. He's a good beat maker too. He has a lot of weird beats too, but he's a good producer.
I think the stuff is really intriguing. I actually really like his beats. He's definitely his own type of artist.
I thought he probably produced this when I first heard it. It just sounded like a beat that he would have produced. I thought it almost sounded like something I heard him on before.
Yeah, it sounded just like one of his beats, but it's not. It's like Sam I Am.
Yeah.
I guess. So yeah, I thought the same thing, Jason. Like that dope fucking jazzy kind of beat was definitely his thing, right?
Yep.
And fucking, but yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, hey, he produced this, right? Nope, definitely not.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw that.
This is the guy from Stone's Throw.
Yeah,
they're both from Stone's Throw, actually. I think Sam I Am was also on Stone's Throw, and John Wayne. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So obviously, that's kind of how this track came in.
Have you picked up his John Wayne's rap album 1 and 2?
Yes, I did actually.
Okay, cool.
Very, very impressed with those. I don't even know which one I like better. I really enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, they're both so good, right? Like, it's crazy. It seems like he just came out of nowhere and just, even though he's been making music for a few years now, apparently, but it seems like
first song, TED Talk, that's on Rap Album 2, the first song, like that is goddamn. Love that song.
Genius. It's fucking genius too, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I can see a lot of people not checking out John Wayne just because of the way he looks. Like, look at this fucking, backpacker, fucking hippie looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what he looked like for the longest time before I heard his music, and then fucking I just saw his music, something new on Stone's Throw to check out, and I checked it out. Like, this is fucking amazing. So.
I'd heard the name thrown around for quite a few years because he dropped a lot of like EPs and just kind of random shit and stuff, and I never really gave it more than one listen. I checked out a track here and there and stuff, and I think what got me intrigued in him, I was, surfing YouTube one day, and he was on Rhythm Roulette. And then I got to put a face to the name that I knew. I was like, when the video first started, I was like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, what the hell? This is this guy? And then he makes this awesome beat, and I was like, what the fuck? And it was like totally weird and kind of tripping shit. And then I think you had mentioned him, like somebody mentioned John Wayne. And I'm like, I gotta check this shit out. So. Yeah,
I mentioned him before for sure. But the first time I heard of him, it was actually on YouTube a few years ago. And he was just like, I don't even know how I came upon this video, but he was just doing a live show. It was just him standing there with his, like, you know, just performing his songs. And people were like in a circle around him. It was just like a super low key type show.
Was it the Boiler Room set that he did?
No, not that one.
I can totally see that.
This one was like there was like maybe like 50 people just like around him, and it's like I was like, what the hell? Okay. This guy's pretty goddamn good. And then I started getting into him after that and following what he was doing.
And you know, like 40 of those 50 people were wearing Grateful Dead and the Doors shirts and stuff, and long haired fucking, you know, kind of.
That's not what you would expect to see at a rap show for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I love this track, man. To make a long story longer, I mean, that's a great title in itself, right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, definitely good verses by Evidence and John Wayne.
Yeah, complement each other quite well, actually.
Yeah.
Then we got Wonderful World, which is directed by Budgie.
Directed
by.
Did I say directed?
You did. You said directed by Budgie.
Well, you know, he's the director of production.
You could say that. He's the director of production.
Sorry, too many podcasts. But yeah, no, produced by Budgie, featuring Rocket Science.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool. You know, I was glad to see Iris Science on there.
Yep.
On a track, which, you know, it just kind of makes you want to listen to Dilated Peoples, man. It really does, actually, when you hear that.
I did after this album. I was listening to Cats and Dogs, and I went and listened to Weatherman, and then Dilated Peoples. I was like, yeah, but this definitely put me back into that space for sure.
Yeah, the last Dilated Peoples album, Director of Photography, was a really good album.
Yeah,
I thought it was really excellent, and it kind of got overlooked, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really hear a lot of people kind of boasting on the album, but I thought that one was fucking dope, man.
Yep, I like that.
So, yeah. That's a good track, man. Kind of, you know, Dilated Peoples, and then we get into the last track on the album, which is called "By My Side 2."
Yeah,
and this is the track that, you know, that we were talking about earlier, that he will not perform because it's a really short track. It's kind of got like a half verse. It feels like, and it's basically about how he was sitting by, you know, his wife who had stage 3 breast cancer, and, you know, she was basically dying, and he talks about this, like how he actually wrote this, like literally sitting next to her.
Yeah.
And just hearing that story, it's like, fuck, man. And then you kind of get, you know, at the end of the track, it actually talks about how his son, who had been born, actually ends up kind of saving her life, right? She was trying to breastfeed one day, and, you know, she found this lump in her breast, and then he kind of gives a big shout out to his son, how his son was like the angel there, you know, saved his wife and shit. And it's just one of those tracks where, like, when you listen to it, you're like, okay, you know, you get the point. You don't really need to listen to it again, because it's like depressing, but you know, there is sun at the end of that. You know, behind that cloud, right? So.
Yeah, I heard him say as well, like he was telling his friend about this, like he started writing it, and then he was like, I'd put it away, and his friend was like, no, man, don't continue with this shit. Like, nobody wants to hear this, basically. But then he said every day he would just like add a line or two to it, and you know, he had the whole song basically. So, but yeah, definitely one of the more emotional tracks you'll ever hear on a hip hop album, that's for sure.
Yeah, being so short, man, it's to the point.
Yeah, definitely some heavy fucking subject matter to put right at the end of a fucking really crazy, kind of fantastic but bleak album. And this, I guess, it works in the context of the bleakness and the darkness of it, but I don't know. It's just fucking a really heavy way to end up a record. Like you said, it's
a perfect roller coaster, man.
Right. It really is. So yeah,
it's like if you look at this album, like Evidence leaves all of himself all over this album, basically. Like,
really does.
He's not really holding anything back. He's just putting who he is out there.
He's wearing every organ on his sleeve, not just his heart.
Yep.
He's got it all out there.
Yep.
It shows, man.
Yeah.
Very, very awesome album, man. So, you guys want to get into ratings?
Yep. Let's do it.
Tom, what do you rate this one?
Oh man, this is one of my favorite records of this year. I'm gonna go with, for now, a strong 9. It'll probably be a 10 in the year, but for right now, a 9. I've been listening to this basically nonstop since it came out. So
yeah, same with me. I've been listening to this all the time. Like, I'm glad we did a review on this, but because I've listened to it so many damn times, I know it pretty much inside and out as much as you can for an album that came out a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. But right. I'm going with a 9 as well.
Yeah, man, it's pretty much perfect to me. It's not too often that you get a new record and 2 months later you've listened to it like 50 times.
Yeah.
How often does that happen, man?
It doesn't happen that often at all. Like that's the thing with this album, is like I just keep listening to it, and there's only that one song that I have any fault with, basically. Other than that, like you said, it is pretty much perfect.
I'm going to come in at 9.5. I don't really have a lot of issues with this at all. I think it's a perfectly constructed record. It just feels like a wave of emotions.
Yep.
It's constructed like that, and it came out like that too. It's amazing. Such a good album.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So what do we have for the top 3 tracks? What do you have, Tom?
All right, wow, this is hard. I mean,
yeah, it is.
I know.
What the album, basically. But if you're gonna make me pick, I guess I'll go with. I mean, I'm sure these will change probably later on tonight, but
yeah.
The Factory was definitely have to be one, because I love the way this starts off. It's so fucking good. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Whether or Not, because I love that track. And then I don't know. See, Throw It All Away is good. I'm gonna go with the track Runners with Dupri, just because it was so cool. I like that beat, and it was so cool to hear Dupri. But like I said, 10,000 Hours could have very easily replaced one of those. Fucking Throw It All Away. And anyway, yeah, those 3. I'm gonna stop right there.
Yeah, it definitely is hard. What did you have, Mood?
I had Throw It All Away, Jim Beam, and 10,000 Hours.
Okay, so I had pretty similar to both you guys, actually. I had 10,000 Hours, Jim Dean, and Runners.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. So that's I think that's probably the highest rated album we've reviewed so far.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say so, man. I mean, if we had a Hall of Fame, that shit would be... Well, according to my other show, it wouldn't be in there. We need 28. Total. Right?
Okay.
So... But I mean, really, this thing is going to be... Probably...
We're very, very close to it. I mean...
Let's come back.
27 and a half. Like...
It's pretty crazy.
I'm sure my rating will probably go up by the end of the year. It'll probably be at a 10. So
yeah, I mean, if that one song starts to pick up on me, like if I do enjoy it a little bit more, then it's definitely 9.5, 10 material.
Yeah. Alrighty, so moving along here, getting into another 2018 album from the Freestyle Fellowship MC Aceyalone, produced by DJ Fat Jack, 43rd in Excellence. So I was a little bit shocked that Aceyalone had some material out that I was willing to check out, because his last couple projects were very, very dreadful. I mean, I will give him a little bit of credit for trying something very oddball and different. With a swing record and a dance hall record. I mean, you can't. Nobody's really done that shit, considering where he came from. The Freestyle Fellowships, his solo records. Like he's been all over the place with different sounds and stuff. But those records were, wow, they were so far out in left field. I hated the dance hall record with a passion. I thought it was one of the worst albums I've ever heard. It was horrible. And the swing one, it kind of made me laugh a little bit. I was like, that's intriguing. but some I can't really listen to. But so I didn't really have high hopes for this until, was it you that mentioned it? Who wanted to do this record?
Yeah, I mentioned it because I heard it and I was like, "Damn, this is not too bad." So I think Moods might like, because I know you like Aceyalone, but like you said, with his last couple projects have been just complete trash.
Oh yeah, so didn't really know what to expect from this. I knew about Fat Jack, but again, I didn't know what I was getting myself into with the beats here and shit like that, and pleasantly surprised by this album for two different reasons. Aceyalone really gets in depth in this record, man. It's a very deep album. You break down the lyrics in this record, like he's really talking about a lot of things that, that he, I mean, I guess he's talked about these things in past records too, but it feels like a very personal record, not, or maybe kind of like, like an evidence record in a sense. Like this one, he's really talking from the heart through in every track. And the beats were very complimentary, in my opinion. Fat Jack's very jazzy, 80s synth, 90s drums. Like he kind of incorporates everything into these beats. I thought that's kind
of one of the things I thought was kind of strange about this album. It almost felt like there were 3 different albums rolled into one, because there were these obviously jazz influenced, straight up jazz beats,
and jazz.
And then it moves on. Like there's another portion of the album that are more electronic, like, almost experimental sounding stuff going on. And then there's this other portion where they have singers on tracks and the singers dominate the track. It's basically the singer featuring Aceyalone. So,
right.
Which I found kind of strange the way it was put together like that. It's like if they had just stuck with one singular theme, I would have been more happy with the album.
It kind of makes sense, I think, for Aceyalone's personality too, considering he likes to try a whole pile of different things. Yeah. And I think, they probably worked side by side and constructed it like that, I guess. I don't know, but I do understand what you mean. So when you'd mentioned that wanted to do this record, and the very first track, Circled Days, the first 2 minutes of the track is this R&B singer, and I was like, what the fuck? Is he fucking with me? I thought you're fucking with me here. I was like, this is crazy. Not really the greatest track to start off an album, because I think some people will be like, not for me, and not even move on after that track. But
I gave that a chance, though, and I actually started liking the song quite a bit. I liked the beat on it, and I actually didn't mind the singing after I listened to it a few times.
Yeah.
No way.
I think it's my weakest point of the record, though. Like all the songs with the singing, like the R&B feel to it.
Yeah.
I think all those tracks are definitely my least favorite ones. I feel like it is kind of, it almost doesn't fit into the rest of the record because it's so jazzy, so it almost has like a lounge feel to some of the tracks.
Yeah.
Like Bang Bang has this like very kind of loungy feel to it and stuff. And
Bang Bang, I love the beat on that song. I thought that was a really good beat.
Yeah. Dope beat on that. I thought the first track, personally, I thought it was, the singer was his name A1 Sauce, A1 Crash.
A1 Sauce crashing.
A1 Sauce crashing right into the fucking ground. He was the most generic fucking soul whatever singer you want to call him. When I first heard it, I was like, what the fuck is this? I thought this album was going to go straight down into the ground. But luckily, it didn't. Aceyalone sounds great on that track. It's just that fucking singer. That fucking hook just ruins it for me. If they would have just taken that shit off, it would have been great. Or they started this album at track 2, I would have just loved it so much more. But
after the singing in the first track, I actually kind of enjoyed the song.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying as well. It's like when it first came on, I was the same as you, Tom. I was like, what the hell is this shit? But then with Aceyalone's part and the beat, I was like, God damn, this is pretty good. And then after I listened to it, I was like, I could tolerate the singing, basically, is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but I still haven't come around to the singing. I wish it just started like 2.5 minutes into it or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely prefer it that way for sure.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't fit. Like it just sounds so ingenuinely generic. Like I said, compared to how personal Aceyalone was, like you said on like the other stuff, it just, I don't know, it just didn't fit like for me. But yeah, I'm completely with you on the like kind of the divide of the record, like fucking the singing by Alana Morgan, the couple tracks she's on, and then the different from the fucking jazzy track, which I love the jazzy tracks. Like on Bang Bang, I love that beat too. That fucking jazzy type beat was awesome. And then on fucking what was it? When Y'all Ready, I really like the beat on that fucking.
I like the cool, man. That's cool, man. It's got it's got a nice scratch hook. It's got a really interesting harmonization, like kind of in the background, that female harmony in there.
The one thing about this album is it is long, so I wish they had have cut the singing songs out altogether. Mm-hmm. I would have loved this so much more. Like those tracks definitely brought it down for me.
I think I agree. Or if he would have put those on like another project that he has.
Yeah, exactly.
Project with that, then maybe that would have been, exactly.
It is, because if you took out those tracks, I mean, you essentially have 12 songs on here. And it would have been shorter. I think it would have felt a little bit more cohesive, for sure.
Yeah, because by the time I got to I think it was song 8, I was just like, man... Because it was taking the more electronic type beats at that point, and I was like, "Where are we going with this? Like, what happened to the jazzy beats?" It's like, goddamn.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, Shooting Star and Trouble in Front of Me kind of have those a little bit different type beats, right?
Yeah, like Shooting Star, I did grow to like it quite a bit, just because it's kind of a mysterious song, like the lyrics in it and shit. It's like, I don't know, I really like that song after a while, but after song 8, Trouble in Front of Me, I was like, oh Jesus, we have another like bunch of tracks to go here.
I actually like that track, Trouble in Front of Me. But
yeah.
I told you Ace was okay, and then you get into a couple tracks like My Angel and Rise and Shine, and those ones are kind of stick out ones for me where I could, throw them out.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like this one, I don't know, it felt like a complete, album filler track.
Yeah. Very filler material, in my opinion. I agree.
But then it gets into Scott Joplin.
Yeah, Scott Joplin was... I really like the Scott Joplin track. The fucking his take on the whole entertainer thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I had to actually look him up as like a real person.
It's like it's like an old school beat too. It almost sounded like a Stetsasonic beat or some shit.
That's exactly what I've written down. Old school beat, man. It's actually really cool. The drum programming in it's pretty cool too and shit. Very very silky feeling. I really like that. But yeah, no, this one definitely has a mixed bag of variety to it. I can
do without mixed bag. Basically, is the overall thing for me is like I like most of the jazzy stuff. Some of the electronic shit was all right, but the singing definitely not.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there, man. I mean, there's even one point in this record on the song I Told You So. He's kind of got a double time beat there, and Ace changes up his flow completely.
Yeah,
and
it does. Sometimes these things work and stuff, but I think it came. I don't know, man. Like at this the middle part of the record is so weird. Mm-hmm. Like with Let It Go, into Shooting Star, Trouble in Front of Me, I Told You So, My Angel, and Rise and Shine. Like if you take that part of the album, every song is like so weird and different. Yeah. Very strange, like, synths to jazz to like double time beats to, Let It Go has this insanely bad snare on it. It has so much reverb. And that's one thing I noticed throughout, Fat Jack's production is that he's very 80s influenced. He has a lot of reverb on a lot of the shit that he's doing, but he almost overdoes it on the snare on that track, and it totally took it away from me.
Yeah.
And listen to that song going, fuck, is that thing overdone? And it's like just way, way too much. And then you get into Shooting Star, which is very synthy kind of feel to, which again is very 80s influence too, right? So you can tell this guy's style, man. He likes the 80s and older jazz music and shit, but in trying to incorporate new style like double timing beats, and it's like a head scratcher at times, man. But
it is.
You also got to hear some scratching from DJ Drez on this record, which is kind of cool. At least they have those elements in here.
There's a couple tracks of that. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Hambone had to been. The fuck, that song just feels like a total throw-in bonus track at the end of I think that's why they put it at the end of the track. It's so goofy and odd. I'm like, why do you put Hambone on this shit, man? I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing I really liked about that is he's like, I got my DJ a brand new knife set, and then he had the little DJ break in there, so it was all right.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But it's definitely a filler kind of goofy track, but
yeah, it is. I think we're all pretty much on the same page when it comes to the division on this record and how we all feel towards that. So
yeah, I will say though, man, I think the highlight for me was Aceyalone himself. He's definitely a lot older, and this album is straight up clean. Like again, Just he's speaking from the heart. It's a very, very clean album. His themes are very straightforward. Like on the Cool, you know, he's telling underground rappers that this probably isn't the best career choice for them. You know, you're not really going to make a lot of money doing this shit, man. You know, and shit like that. So, and you know, it's coming from a guy who's been in the game for 20-something years.
Yeah. He's pretty much seen it all, and he talks about that as well on here. So, like you said, it's kind of a personal album. It goes throughout, you know, his younger days, the shit he's seen, what he's doing, you know. So, yeah. I definitely like Aceyalone on here, but just the strange transitions in the singing, not for me. Yeah,
the singing was my biggest issue with this one, man. What about the song We've Arrived? The hook in that sounds like fucking Quasimodo.
I think that was when I thought it sounded kind of like Q-Tip on Helium or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, there you go. And it's totally Aceyalone. They just pitched his voice. You can tell by the way the words are pronounced. It's just his voice that's pitched. And it just sounds like Quasimodo to me, which is, you know, not necessarily a bad thing. I love Quasimodo. Fucking amazing. Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was just kind of strange.
It is. It's a strange fit again. It's like, you know, they had this idea for this record, and I think the problem is with this album is that they had too many ideas.
Yeah, it seems good. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, when you have incorporating
too many songs, too many ideas, too many songs, like that's the downfall of it, basically.
Yeah. But you know, it sounds like we're kind of harping on this. I actually do like this album. It's not something I could listen to all the time. I feel like it's almost too loungy, too hypnotic at times. And, you know, once you've listened to the album a couple times, you get the point. You're not really getting much more out of it. Because Ace is telling the stories straight up. Yeah. You know, they're very calculated stories. You're not going to be like, oh, fuck, I missed that. You know, that's kind of cool. You're not thinking about the metaphors too much and shit, because it's not really a lot. It's pretty straight up.
Yeah, not a whole lot of replay value for me. It does have its place. Like certain songs I will check out probably in the future if you're in a certain mood, but it's a mood album, and like I said, not the whole album is of interest to me.
A lot of times when I'm thinking about the standout tracks and, you know, how an album's going to resonate with me over time is the ability to pull tracks from an album and put them onto mixtapes and shit.
Yeah.
And with this one, I can't imagine myself putting any of the songs onto a mixtape.
No.
Right? And that's a weird thing to me. So it doesn't necessarily have those like standout tracks, like a 10,000 Hours or something like that.
No.
You know, so it's one of those, this to me is the straight up mood record. If you just want to lounge and just chill and just like your head fucking hurts, you want to relax, just throw it on. It's that type of album. Nothing's going to blow you away. Yeah. Nothing's going to be like, nothing's going to make you sick like that West Side Gun, Mr. Green bullshit.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much all in agreement on this.
Yeah. Jay, what do you rate this one?
I gave it a 6.
I am also on the same level as you. I also gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
That makes 3 6s.
Oh, nice. 666.
It's the devil, man. Right. It's the devil. 3 tracks.
The devil's record.
3 tracks. I went with Bang Bang, The Cool, and Shooting Star.
You know, it's funny. I actually had Shooting Star originally, but I changed it. I went with Bang Bang, The Cool, and Scott Joplin.
Okay, yep.
Cool. Well, mine are kind of similar. I went with The Cool, Scott Joplin, and When Y'all Ready.
All right.
When Y'all Ready. Cool. Cool stuff.
Just because he shouts out fucking Miles, Dizzy, and...
he's giving all the jazz references there.
Yeah, that's why I like that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, that totally makes sense, right? You're the big jazz guy here.
Yeah.
I love jazz, but I don't know a lot of the artists and shit. Mm-hmm. It's kind of strange like that. Yeah.
I like my pockets fat, not flat. I like my pockets fat, not flat. I like my pockets fat, not flat.
All right, so moving along here, getting into the old school album of the day picked by Jay LaSolis.
Yes, sir. I picked Showbiz A.G with their classic Runaway Slave.
What year did this come out? 1992, right? Yeah, 1992.
Yep. 92, yep.
Runaway Slave. Yeah, man. DITC for life.
Yeah.
Good shit, man.
I think for this, Showbiz just went to work on these beats. Like, This album, it has some of the best horn samples of all times, and it's throughout the whole album.
Yep.
And you know, the rapping's good, but the beats are definitely the high point of this album for me. There's nothing super complex or innovative about their styles, the way they're rapping. You know, they're throwing it at you straight up, but it all mixed together. Man,
let's be fair.
Really good package.
Let's be fair. A lot of records that came out at this time were very similar in style with the storytelling.
Yep.
And this one's kind of funny too, because like you have tracks where AG is, you know, preaching about like stop the violence, and then 3 tracks later he's talking about how hard he is and shit, telling another story about, you know, ghetto stories and shit. Like, I mean, it's not like a straight up like gangster album or anything.
No.
But there is times where, they're kind of telling those stories like that. And I honestly, man, I really like Showbiz on the record. To be honest, like, you know, AG is kind of the guy that's, you know, went on to the rapping career.
Yeah.
But Showbiz, man, at times, I think it's because he's the more rugged one, and I think his voice and his style fits his own beat, which makes a lot of sense, right? That it would fit on his beats a little bit more. AG's kind of the smoother one. He's the more storyteller. I don't know, man. They do complement each other quite well. I wish there was a little bit more back and forth and stuff. AG definitely does have a lot more verses on this album, for sure, because he's got a couple full tracks where, you know, Showbiz isn't even on it.
Yeah, it's just him solo on there.
Yeah. First track on the album, Still Diggin', which is, you know, kind of the sequel to Diggin' in the Crates from the Soul Clap EP. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's just
just the way it starts off with that horn. It's like, oh my God.
Man. Fantastic.
It's like you never forget that. I still remember listening to that as a kid, and like, it just, that beat, just as soon as that album started, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, dude. Which leads into Fat Pockets, which, oh man, dude, that bass line. Oh, it's so fucking hard. It's got one of the coolest choruses. Yeah. I love it, man. I like my pockets fat, not flat. Yeah. I love that shit.
They had a video for that too. In the video it's a different beat though. It's like a remix beat or some shit.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. I preferred the original myself, but
They had like, it's weird, back in the day they had like video mixes, like different beats, you know, video mix beats for records. I don't know why they did that. Like, I can understand if it was for swear words, but I don't understand why they did that for different beats. Maybe for samples or something, but they still,
maybe,
I don't know.
I'm not sure. It is kind of weird they did that though.
I always think of, you know, when MC8 put out We Come Strapped, man, and the I think is it Niggas Make the Hood Go Round? Yeah. Is that, and then the video version is called G's, because you can't use the N-word.
Yeah.
But the beat is completely different in the video version, and it's fucking dope.
Yep.
And that single I could never find.
Yeah, there are a few like that. And it's always kind of strange things. I remember when I was a kid, when I had this album, and I saw the video, I was like, these are 2 different beats. Like, what the hell? But I did like the original one better, so it worked out. But whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Bounce to this, man. I don't know how many times I've put this track on mixtapes over the years.
Man.
You know, I mean, I'm a huge fucking Black Sheep Drez fan.
Yeah, Drez kills this, man.
He's just great good on this, man. The horns are amazing on this.
Oh, yeah.
His feature's amazing. It's just such a fun track. Like, you can't go wrong with songs like this. This is like you put on a 90. If you made a 90s mixtape, man, this is a perfect song to put on there, dude. I bet you I could pull tapes out that I made in those days, and they've got this track on there.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it. Still love it to this day.
Yeah, me too.
So good, man. Yeah, dude, like, More Than One Way Out the Ghetto it's like an AG solo song, right? He's just, you know, telling ghetto hood tales.
Yeah.
And shit like that. It's kind of a jazzy beat, actually. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
On this one.
Yeah, this is where he gets a little bit more serious type of shit, but
yeah, this is one where he's not really trying to be that hard. You know, he's telling ghetto tales, trying to get the fuck out of there and stay positive, man. Stay positive. And this is one, the next track on the record is one. It's the order that always bugs me. I know it's these little nitpicks. It's these fucking little nitpicks. I knew
you were going to mention this. I knew you were going to say this.
Because you guys know me, and this shit always bugs me, is when they put the remix on the record before the original track.
It is weird. Why would you do that?
I don't get it. I've never understood it. And, you know, and this is one of those cases, too, that really does kind of annoy me, because It's called Silence of the Lambs, and it's the remix. It's got, Kid Capri at the beginning of the track and stuff. It's essentially the same track. The chorus is different, but it's also the edited version of the song. They changed the lyrics. They don't censor the swear words. They actually change the words.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the clean version of Silence of the Lambs, and I'm just, why?
Yep.
I've never understood why this track even exists.
Yeah, why would they even put it on the album at all, really?
I always wondered that. This feels like if you're going to put it on there, put it as a bonus track. If you want a different version, the short and coarse Kid Capri intro with the no cursing, put it as a bonus track.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny that you knew I was going to bring that up.
Oh, I knew it as soon as I was thinking about this. Like, oh, Mood's just going to be all over that remix.
Yeah, it's funny, man. So then we got 40 Acres. And my props.
Yeah.
This song, man. Oh, dude, it's got the classic the classic KRS-One line.
Yeah.
Throw him off the stage like KRS-One.
Yeah.
I love that shit. Which actually we didn't even mention because I guess it was kind of forgettable, but that dude from PM Dawn died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I guess
that was a while. That was quite a while ago now.
Was it?
I think so.
I don't even know.
Maybe we did mention. We might have mentioned him on a previous show.
Might have.
I think we might have. I don't know. But yeah,
whatever.
I think that was a while back.
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure actually. Shit. Interesting. Yeah. Anyways, another dope track. Showbiz, man. I love fucking Showbiz on this track, man.
Yep.
Showbiz rocks on this one.
I really do think, as far as the rapping portion goes as well, I did enjoy Showbiz on a lot of these when he's on there more than AG for sure.
Yeah, and this is one of this track. I think. Yeah, no, this one actually has two verses from both of them, which is kind of interesting. So
yeah, basically just about getting their props.
Yeah.
Yep. There's not a lot of real depth to these tracks,
No.
We listen to these for more of the beats and stuff.
Yeah.
Then you got Hard to Kill, which I believe it has Fat Joe in the intro. And that's one thing about this album too that's kind of interesting. It kind of created its own style with these like really quick intros, and then they would just cut off.
Yeah.
And then it would get into the track.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of interesting how they did that.
Yeah, I remember, back in the day listening to these thinking that my tape was fucking up.
Yeah.
I was like, it just cut off, and I looked to see if it's still playing, right? And then all of a sudden the song would kick in. I'm like, oh man, it's still working.
Still going. Still rolling here.
Yeah.
Just some bad editing type of thing.
Oh, I think I forgot about Runaway Slave. That's actually another.
Yeah.
The title track on this record is, I think, like another AG solo track, really.
Yep.
Which isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, it is.
Where the fuck is Showbiz on the title track?
This is a more serious type song as well, Maybe so. AG maybe is just like, all right, I'll handle the serious topics, throw these couple tracks in, and rest of it'll be, props and party shit.
True that, man. True that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
goddamn crackheads dying everywhere, diseases and shit. Yeah.
Hard to Kill, man. That's a tough track, man.
Yep.
It's a tough track. It's
very hard beat. Yep.
Hold Your Head. Another really dope track. He Said, She Say. He Say, She Say. I feel that I was listening to this album again last night, and I feel that Kid Rock stole this premise for his white guy, black girl song.
I'm not familiar with that song. I don't think.
I'm not either, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Devil Without a Cause. That album has a song on it called "White Guy, Black Chick" or something like that, or "Black Chick, White Guy." I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I just remember this story about this white guy with this black chick, and they have a baby and blah blah blah. And I feel like that premise was taken from this song, like the very first verse. I think there's like a trilogy of stories involved in this track.
Yeah.
But the construction and the premise, I feel like Kid Rock, it's funny because Kid Rock was, even doing shit back in '92, being produced by Too Short, which is so fucking weird in itself. But I kind of feel Lord Finesse on the intro cuts off into the track.
Yep. This one is probably my least favorite track on the album. I mean, it's not bad at all. It's just kind of lacking. Didn't really fit in on the album, I didn't think.
Mm-hmm. Then we get into the Posse track, Represent.
Yeah.
Which, man, again, this is another song that made on like a million tapes back in the day. It's got that classic Big L. I mean, it's been sampled.
They messed up by letting Big L start this off, I think. I mean,
it ruins the whole. It ruins the whole fucking. It ruins everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I think the thing is that's kind of strange about this track is that Deshaun's second, the guy never really did anything.
Right, you're right.
Yeah. And it's funny. One of the lines he had though is like, this will come up. I remember this line because I thought it was so funny when I was a kid. He's like, he was raised by psycho crazed lumberjacks. I was like, what the hell? Once in a while, I'll just be going around. Yeah, I was raised by psycho crazed lumberjacks. Like nobody's ever going to get this reference at all. But oh man, I don't know why that always stuck with me my whole life. Like it just cracked me up so much when I was a kid. I was raised by psycho crazed lumberjacks.
But he kind of sticks with that premise. He's like I was raised by psycho crazed lumberjacks. So in a battle, I'd be stabbing, chopping MCs like trees, piece by piece, building cabins.
Yeah, I thought his verse was good, man. It just cracked me up so much. It's like, this is fucking funny. But then I never heard tell of the guy after that. So.
Yeah, he kind of like fell off the face here. I think there's a DIC unreleased production, and there's a track that he'd recorded in '94 that's on there.
Okay, yeah.
And then you get into one of my. Oh, sorry, Tom.
Squad. Yeah, I was gonna say he was a member of the Terror Squad for a while back in like the later '90s or whatever. But that's like last I've heard of him.
Which kind of makes sense actually, because that's Terror Squad's obviously related to DITC. And then you get into one of my favorite MCs of all time, Lord Finesse, just the king of punchlines.
Yeah,
fucking so amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, his verse is long. It's so dope, man.
Oh yeah.
And then you get into A.G. Ends the track, which again, there should have been a Showbiz verse on here. There should have been.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of weird that Showbiz wasn't on this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And AG's verse is actually, he comes off really soft in this track, considering the 3 verses before him.
Yeah, it's not even on the same level at all.
See, now it should have been constructed like this. AG should have started this track.
Yep.
Then Deshaun, Lord Finesse, and then Big L should have just fucking murdered the end of it.
Exactly. That's exactly how it should have went.
Yeah, because, man, every line that Big L spits in his verse is, like, sampled the shit out of it. Everyone sampled this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, DITC members still sample these classic lines.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Such an amazing Posse track.
Yeah, it is.
And then, on the version that we're reviewing, the 12-track one, Silence of the Lambs, the original track, is on here, which is, the kind of like the longer version of the track. Uncut. Yep. It's got it's got the really long hook by Showbiz, Showbiz and Silence of the Lambs to my partner AG, Silence of the Lambs to my man Lord Finesse, and he just keeps going on. Gangstar, Nice and Smooth, Black Sheep, Chi Ali, mentions Chi Ali, Jazzy J, Diamond D, Fat Joe. Yeah, man, good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I prefer this one to the remix. No need for the remix. I should have got rid of it.
Yeah, I don't understand, and it's it's weird because it's like the same track, but it's not. Change up a couple lyrics and choruses. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that to put the fucking remix in the middle of the record?
I don't know, man. That must have been some type of record executive dude that's just stupid.
It's so fucking weird to do that. It's so weird, man.
Maybe that was his big idea. It's like to save his job or something. Let's put a remix midway in the album, and then we'll put the original version in the last song on the album.
Yeah.
So if you guys are wondering out there why we're not doing the full, the original release of Runaway Slave with the orange cover actually has 4 more tracks on it after Silence of the Lambs. It's got the Party Groove bass mix, which Party Groove was off the Soul Clap. And I don't really care for this bass mix version.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big fan of that. And then it actually has Soul Clap, the short version of the track. Then it does have Catching Wreck, which I might add, I actually love that track.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one.
And then it's got the Party Groove instrumental. So there's not really a whole lot more here, But I do like Catch and Rack, though. It's good shit.
Yeah. So,
but Runaway Slave, man, classic stuff, man. A great album from Showbiz A.G. Do you prefer this one to to Goodfellas?
Goodfellas? Yeah, I do. Because this one for me it brings back so many memories when I was a kid and I listened to this album. I played this so much. I love this album so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. This one has the more classic tracks for me personally. The more classic beats. Anyway, I like the beats more on this one personally. But
I actually do prefer Goodfellas to this album, even though this stuff is it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing stuff. But
they're both great.
You can't really go wrong with any of this era DIT. I mean, even today, a lot of the DITC stuff that comes out is still really good.
Oh yeah,
but like this stuff is just legendary, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Legendary stuff.
Yep. So since we got to wrap this shit up, let's go with the top 3 tracks. What do you have, Moods?
I have Fat Pockets, Bounce to This, and Represent.
All right. Cool.
Not in any specific order, just in order of album release.
Yeah.
Track listeners.
That's very close to mine. I had Still Digging, Bounce to This, and Represent.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar as well. Bounce to This, Hold Your Head, and Represent.
Nice.
Yeah, Hold Your Head is one of the most cool, like, chill beats I've ever heard in my life, man. I love that beat so much. But yeah, the beats definitely dominate this album.
Oh yeah, for sure. The beats were definitely the highlight for me. Like the fucking horns and the classic fucking horns and drums would do it.
I'm surprised I was the only one that had Fat Pockets, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was very close. I could have had either fucking Fat Pockets, Bounce to This, Still Digging, or Represent. Those 4 tracks are interchangeable for me. Fucking, that's my favorite.
Like I don't know why. It's just Hold Your Head is kind of a strange one, but it's just that beat, man. I love that beat so much. It's just such a cool beat.
Yeah, it's dope for sure. It's fantastic. So.
All right, so now we have the tracks out of the way. What do you have for ratings? Go with you, Moods. Kick it off, Moods.
Showbiz A.G. Runaway Slave, man. I think it's a really, really solid record, man. I'm coming in at 9 out of 10 on this one. I think there's really not a lot wrong with this one at all.
Yep.
Yeah,
you, Tom? Was high on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I would fucking definitely second that 9 with another 9.
This is funny because that's what I have as well. I'm going with the 9 on this.
It's one of those records, man, that just has a lot of replay value. Like, I spent 6 hours straight listening to tunes last night, prepping for the show and looking up news and all that shit. And the first when I got up in the morning, I set my alarm to get up. That's good.
I did as well.
I'm way before you guys in time, but so
I stay up super late, so I had to set mine as well, so I didn't want to miss.
So I get into the studio here, and first track I put on was Fat Pockets this morning to wake me up.
Yeah,
brought in my keg cup full of coffee. And,
sponsor.
Sponsor, and listen to Fat Pockets, get me going. So. Fucking right.
Yeah, I've listened to this album so many times throughout my life.
Yeah,
every time I put it on, it's like, it's good shit.
Yeah, I mean, Jason has the best fucking unofficial final version that you can get of it. So it just sounds so good.
Yeah, so if you guys are ever looking for this and you see it in a record store, it's the Blue Label Payday release. It sounds like, especially the first few songs, they sound like complete shit. Like it's really hissy and ashy and it's just awful. It sounds like I was saying to Tom there. I said it almost sounds like they recorded it off like a tape that got eaten or some shit. But yeah, but at this point, I've listened to it a few times on that album and. It almost sounds right because it's like from '92 and it's like cheap shit, It's like it's almost what you would hear on a tape that got eaten or something back then.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you ever see that in the store and you don't want a shitty sounding album, just pass it on by.
Pass it on, even though it's cheap. Pass it on.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Well, I think that is gonna conclude episode 8 here from Disposable Arts, man.
Another one in the books,
man. I guess we'll see you guys in about 3 months.
We did it, Mama. We back.
Summer?
No, we're seriously going to try and get another one out here sooner than later. Don't know what we're going to do. I guess we'll have to decide. There's a lot of records to choose from, to be honest.
There is. Oh, that's true. So,
and
hopefully they keep rolling out as well in the upcoming middle portion of the year.
Yeah,
that's right. So whose pick is it for the old school record?
I think it's back to me now, right? Because I think everyone went, or is it? I think it is.
I think so. What was the last one? Was the Real Live the last one we did?
That
was you. I know you picked that, Moods. Was that the last one we did?
I believe it was.
You know what?
Right?
You know what? The Real Live was episode 6, and then episode 7 was the.
Oh, was it?
Yep. So it is.
Yep.
It's back to Tom.
So it's all yours, Tom.
Yeah, cool. I'll find something good. I actually have something in mind that's I think everyone will enjoy.
Nice. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Cool. And then we'll just have to come to an agreement on our new albums, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
All right, so, well, since this show's gone on for... Actually, it's been pretty good. It's, actually still about 4 hours. It's roughly.
Yeah,
so,
we've been going for a while here.
Yeah, I'm going to...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be about that. So, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Leave your comments down below if you guys are still listening. And, drop us a line. If you got any questions, drop us those lines also. And that's going to do it for episode 8. Deuces.